agrees. In that specific situation, the quarterback has when it's safe or when you're in doubt, let it play out. You've got a backstop with this replay. Come back, regardless how long the run is. Make it too fast, put it straight back in the clock. And to get that down to the Crescent City using group therapy down there. It'd be useful down there, Kurt. I feel bad for Cam Jordan. The big fella ran a long way. He got nothing to show for it. By the way, he had one in the holster at the post-game press conference. That line he used, we heard that in our production meeting last week. So regardless of that, obviously the Rams were excellent yesterday against the Saints. And then you get the news is Drew Brees going to be out for about 6 weeks with pending thumb surgery. And then the news on Roethlisberger elsewhere in the league today that will miss the remainder of the season with elbow surgery. And think about what's going on with Brees.
Peace.
You mentioned Pittsburgh surgery. And then with Roethlisberger, the Rams, that's just the elbow surgery.
Peace.
There's Johnson getting some work. Brian Reigns in from the far side. Cody Kitchens, first-year head coach for the Browns. Offside. Defense, number 33. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down. People say, where did Freddie Kitchens come from? They're around the NFL. He's an old SEC guy that you're familiar with. Absolutely love Freddie Kitchens. Played against him back when I was in college. And he talked about tonight was going to be a big night because he did not know how his team was going to respond. A lot of expectations. They didn't play well last week. He said, I'm going to know when I get back on the plane on Monday night who's with me and who's against me. And I think he understands tonight. A lot of guys play well. A lot of guys are going to be with me. The anxious was Jamal Adams. So he was a quarterback at Alabama. And of course, you were a great all SEC defensive lineman. You played against him. Now that you played against him, you got after him a little bit, though.
All right, my friend.
It's good that John Perry wasn't around back
Can you hear me, Bobby?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you came on pretty fast. You called me out. I'm like, where that noise coming from? Yeah, I'm a little better clean shaved this time.
That makes 2 of us.
Word. I learned my lesson. Yeah, I looked it bad last time. I'm like, damn, man.
It's called the code of man.
Yeah, word. Hold on 1 second. 1 second.
There you go.
Yeah, the last time, I believe we was on here a little too long.
You said too long?
Yeah, last time. So I said, you know what? We're gonna make, we won't stand long that because I like to read.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed on so long last time where I had to go straight to bed. No, actually I tried to read. So it was already late. So I had to, I had a horrible morning when I woke up.
Did you make it through the morning?
Yeah, but it was horrible. Because I went to bed like 3, 4 o'clock because I would, when I read, I get in tune. I don't want to stop. I don't care what time it is. And that's what happened.
Okay. Well, make sure you pace yourself so you'll be ready for take care of your business.
Yeah, I mean, like I buy so many books. I'm one of those guys that buy more books than I can read.
It's not a bad habit to have.
Yeah. So
like we talked about last week, as long as it translates into you making some kind of money, that's fine with me.
Oh yeah, definitely. Every time I read, it's always to give it back with a price.
Right.
So definitely. Okay. So now.
Wait, I'm sorry.
So I had time to read up. I had time to gather some resources, and be more organized this time. on the discussion, at least the topic.
Mm-hmm.
So, so Elijah Muhammad don't really speak about the universe or that type of stuff in the Message of the Black Man, or in, I don't think, Fall of America, but he definitely speaks about. I don't have Theology of Time. Like, people keep telling me to get that, but and I will. But I do know he speaks of the universe in Our Savior Has Arrived.
Right.
So now he doesn't speak. I was a little shocked because I expected to see like a large, bunch of, a whole bunch of literature in there discussing the topic, because that's like a broad topic. But he really, it was very short. He didn't really touch on too much.
Right.
So I'm pretty much going to go over. I'm going to share what I put on. I put it on Word, Microsoft Word, and so when you go online, they don't give page numbers online. The online books. So you couldn't tell somebody the page. So if you had a physical book in your possession, you can't really tell on what page when you're online. You got to go by paragraph. So I would say this chapter, this paragraph. So you got to count the paragraphs down to get to it.
I mean,
depending
on whatever you quote, I might be able to find it just real quick, but depends on, because I have a lot of this stuff somewhat memorized a little bit, but depending on what you quote, I can get a page number if necessary. That's fine. That's no problem.
Yeah. Now, let's see. So I believe it's. Let me make sure. I believe it's chapter 11. Let me double check. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, chapter 11. So pretty much chapter 11, paragraph, I believe it's starting from paragraph 25.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes into chapter 12, I think. No, this is something else. Yeah, no, actually, yeah. So he talks about things sporadically throughout that book. So chapter 11, chapter 12, I'm seeing there's a chapter 26 here. I pretty much just did control find on like universe, or certain key phrases that I knew would list. So chapter 11, page 25. Let me share my screen, because it was interesting to see what he said about the universe, how it was created, and how Allah was created. That was very interesting, especially because it wasn't like he was educated like Booker T. Washington, where like he or Frederick Douglass, somebody that's that was like formatted, so certain language he used, certain analogy he used, you can tell that he definitely didn't go to school, to get a some science major degree.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. So you spit to see it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so do I got to enlarge in the font, or is it good?
That's good. That's perfect. Okay,
so it says, Our Savior Has Arrived, chapter 11, paragraph 25. It says, imagine, and it's funny because he said imagine, you close your eyes now. And if you read a lot of science books, they say that. That's the verbiage that they use. They tell you to imagine things. And, I thought that was like his way of doing it, but no, you see that a lot. So imagine you close your eyes now. Imagine the whole entire visibility of the universe is gone from you. This is the way he was born, in total darkness. So I always challenge when I heard triple darkness, because I'm like, I never heard that before in the teachings. So Elijah Muhammad, he's never ever going to say triple darkness. He's going to always say total darkness. So triple darkness, that's a whole new teaching that's going around. But Elijah don't use the word triple, because I try to find his creation, theory by using the word triple, and that's no search, found, no results found. I'm like, damn. So where they get that from? This triple darkness stuff. But Elijah didn't teach that at all. But not in his books, at least. Maybe Theology of Time, maybe. But the books, no.
Can you hear me?
Say that again?
You hear me?
Yeah.
Did you expect to find something from academia to validate it?
Say that one more time.
Did you expect to find something from academia through whatever sources you looked at to validate it? Did you expect to find anything to coincide with it?
Yeah, because he's using terms that would be in that field.
Okay.
So, like certain, like, okay, like dark matter, like that's a scientific term. Anybody who used that term got it from science. They heard or read something in science to come with that term, dark matter. So the word matter, period, you would have to know something about science, because that's a scientific term. Just like in law, there are certain terms there that's found nowhere else but in law. So if you use that terminology, then that means that you definitely read or heard something about law. So, so I think you get where I'm coming from. So, okay. So it says, so he was born in total darkness. There was no light anywhere out of the total orbit of the universe. Now, it's funny. I got to stop right here. It's funny because when you read, well, for me, and I know other people too, with no video, no cameras, we can read perfectly normal. It's something about knowing you're being recorded and you try to read, all of a sudden, words you can pronounce.
Maybe it's the electricity.
bro, it's I'm trying. Yeah, I'll be like, because sometimes when I do my videos, I'll be like reading what I typed in there, my own stuff. And I got to do so many takes. Like I got to take that off, delete that. I'm like, I can't read cat. Like I'm saying something else.
Right.
Ketchup. I'm like, where did that come from? But it's only when I'm being recorded. So pardon me if I make any grammatical errors. Okay. So out of the total orbit of the universe of darkness, there sparked an atom of life. Okay. So now I researched the term atom, right? And when did scientists come up, when they find out about atoms? Because it's interesting that he used the word atom and he didn't mention things that make up an atom. And the reason that my conclusion I came to this conclusion, well, because it wasn't, okay. So the scientific world got wind of the word atom in 1909. So now that's a scientific world. The layman's like us, and Elijah Muhammad, who's third grade education, like that terminology wouldn't even, well, that finding wouldn't have reached them yet. That comes years later because they just found it, because at that time, 1909, I don't know if you know, but that was a time period called modern physics. You had Albert Einstein, a whole bunch of physicists like discovering crazy stuff and getting Nobel Peace Prize by their finding. They come up with new theories of relativity, general relativity, and other people come up with different theory. So there was like really just like for physicists, like that was their golden era. They came up with all these different ways to think about different things. Like the law of thermodynamics came around that time, 1900. So a lot of things in physics was popping off. So the atom thing was discovered. So I guess when Elijah got wind of it, or the layman's got wind of it, because it had to be like some years later, because after that, they found out what makes an atom. So an atom couldn't be there. And my whole point is an atom couldn't be there first. An atom wasn't there first. Like
couldn't be where first?
In space.
Okay.
Right. An atom actually came later. So it was different things going on in space. and then the Adam came later. So when I was reading this, it was interesting to see that he started off with an Adam.
You talking about the term Adam came later?
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
right.
I mean, we do speak English, but go ahead.
No, I'm saying the finding of an atom. Okay, before 1909, they didn't believe that there was no such thing as an atom. Like they had different thoughts.
Well, the atom existed. We didn't have a term for it in English.
No, what I'm trying to say is that they didn't know what an atom was.
Who's it they?
The scientists. Like it wasn't known to man. A man had no idea what an atom was before 1909.
Well, I would say the for the original man, it was kind of a natural thing to know the existence of, atoms and material, but they didn't have a need to create a body of knowledge discussing it because of the lifestyle they were living in Africa. We weren't that kind of people, but nevertheless, yeah, I mean, the term atom, yes, I will go with that. That yeah, it started in 1909. You said, right?
Yeah. Now, okay.
But that doesn't mean that there wasn't a term or body of knowledge to describe it. I mean, the Arabs, they had made some great inroads with physics. As you know, the Egyptians, they made great inroads with the sciences of their day.
See,
and many other civilizations. Now they naturally didn't call it an atom, but
now
we can see some in some of the works that we've studied of those cultures of them describing an atom.
Now I don't believe that because when you read, like science books, like any book, it doesn't matter if it's math, science, any book, they're gonna go over the history. It could be art, engineering, but it could be something simple like football.
Right.
They're going to give you the history of how it came about. The origins. Even Wikipedia. You type in anything you want to know.
So you're saying that all the great civilizations that existed before us didn't know about the atom?
Yeah, I want to say that. I want to say this. I want to say that the original man has discovered a lot of things before anybody else.
There's nothing new under the sun, but yes, go ahead.
I know that, but because like you said, it was always there, but we didn't know that.
Why wouldn't the original man know that?
Well, because we didn't know everything. Like there are some things that we just didn't know.
Well, that's me and you being a part of the original man's family, being that we are original people, in our little area of existence or part of the planet where we live on, that type of thought may not be prevalent in the societies where we lived, whether it be in Africa or any other part of the earth during that time. But that doesn't mean that that a certain number of people didn't know it. I mean, look at all these great monuments that archaeologists have uncovered: Pumapuku, obviously the pyramids, and all these other great structures. I mean, these structures, they were built with precise and advanced knowledge. It would be hard for me to believe that people who created these great structures didn't have a knowledge of atoms.
I know that.
Or the science of the atom.
Yeah, I know that we have done a lot of things. And like I said, I know that we believe we have done everything before everybody else. But the fact is that we didn't discover everything before everybody else. Like we made our mark. Like we get credit for most of the things that are being done today. But we do not get credit for everything being done today. Like there's just some things we just didn't do or didn't discover. And other people, I'm not so let me say this.
The Earth is very old, my friend. It's a very old planet.
But we need evidence on top of that. But look, I'm not trying to say we wouldn't have uncovered it had we had Egypt never been sacked by the Greeks.
So the white man was the first one to discover it.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I can understand why you would think that. But he got his knowledge from somewhere. I mean, he's just roughly 500 years out of the Dark Ages. Europe, from I would say even the fall of the Roman Empire up to the rise of the British Empire, it was a very illiterate illiterate population.
But yeah, you're
So does it make sense that people who are relatively fresh out of the Dark Ages were the first ones to crack the code on the very foundation of life?
okay. So there were stepping stones. Okay, so the Greeks were the first to like start to crack open these things. You know, when they sacked Egypt, they were living in.
They say that they were the first.
Okay. So I'm trying to give you a timeline. So the infant. So you said that they just came out of nowhere. They didn't come out of nowhere.
They said what came out of nowhere?
No, like the information, how they just came out. They came out of nowhere to get the information. That's not how it started.
Civilizations, like when white people conquered the Indians, here's a lot of things they learned from the Indians they didn't know before.
Right.
So
look what I'm saying, so you can know what I'm saying. I'm saying that their origins started in Egypt. Okay.
The origin of what?
Their origins of knowledge started in Egypt.
Talking about white people?
Yeah. Yeah. And definitely
not necessarily, no.
I'm dealing with, wait, hold up. I'm dealing with the Greeks. The Greeks' origins are now starting in Egypt.
Yeah, I wouldn't debate that.
Yeah, because you had
I wouldn't describe that as I wouldn't debate that.
Yeah, you had the Library of Alexandria, and a lot of the Greeks tell you right now that a lot of the Greeks will tell you that like they gave props to different Egyptians where they got the information from. So right. They were in control of the Library of Alexandria, right? A lot of that information came from Egypt, of course. They were in Egypt basically. Like after they sacked it, they were the sole controllers of Egypt. Like they took over Egypt. So they lived in the Library of Alexandria. They lived there. You know, it was very huge. It was like a university, and it had a sister building next to it. They lived there as well. And all these did. So now you're talking about people, like you just said, people who.
That's Alexander's library. There's other libraries that existed before that, but
but a lot of the information that they extracted from Egypt, they put in there.
Say again.
A lot of the information they extracted from Egypt, they brought to that library.
They brought what they can understand.
Well, they understood a lot, and this is how they was able to use that math to do great things with it. You know,
it's belief that the true knowledge of these civilizations, like Egypt, was kept hidden. So they may have gotten access to knowledge, but it was a general knowledge, so to say. That's the belief, and we believe that's true because they can't, to this day, duplicate what the Egyptians did so many thousands of years ago with the pyramids and all the other great structures.
So, with that being said, they have not been able to understand all the languages of Africa, you know, of ancient days, you know.
Right.
But they haven't. But what they were able to understand, like you said, the things they were able to understand, they were able to understand it, and they took the information for themselves, and they started to build their society with that.
Right.
Okay. And that's why they had it. After that, they had these great sculptures, and like their whole mythology is piggybacked off Egypt's, you know, mythology. So now with the information they took, they took it a different way. See that when you look at Egypt was a very technological place, okay, and it was like rooted in mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
Little science going on, and what I mean by that, science is to know why and how. Always, okay. So the Egyptians, because they could use the Egyptians use. So let me say this: technology is things that are created to reach a goal. So like you don't need to even know the whys and hows. You just know that I'm using it to get over here. I'm using it to get this. That's technology. Science is I want to know what this does and what this is and what that is and what makes that. That's science. You ask questions and you answer all of them. That wasn't going on in Egypt. A lot of math.
What wasn't going on in Egypt?
The questions, why and how.
Well, I will say that by the time of the Greeks, a lot of that, I guess you can call it hidden knowledge. We just use that for that's the best term that I can think of, was buried away it was buried away during that period of time with the Greeks and what we've read of the Egyptians today. So it wouldn't be available for them to even study anyway.
Okay, so the information that they gathered that was in the Library of Alexandria, they studied that every day because they were trying to build their society, and they knew that this information was the cornerstone. So they themselves perfected science. Now they didn't perfect math like
the Greeks talking about.
Yeah, the Greeks, they perfected science. They didn't perfect math because math was like to
what kind of science did they perfect? When you say perfect, that's a big term. What did they perfect?
Right. They perfected the scientific method. How to use observations, explanations, and then be able to predict something to come. Without a doubt, it's going to come. So I'll give you an example. You are familiar with the actual facts, correct?
Yeah.
Right. The speed of light, the distance between the sun and the earth, the diameter, all that type of stuff. That was already figured out 2,000 years before 1930.
Right.
Right. So you got
there's nothing that those actual facts, if people accept them for what they are, did not begin in 1930.
Right. See. The thing is, like, you are a unique person, and I realized that last time I talked to you, because your thought process isn't normal. It isn't a normal reflection of people who subscribe to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Like your thought process isn't consistent as theirs, because a lot of things you say be correct, but I don't get that from when I talk to somebody average. You know, like they won't even say what you just said just now. Like they would say 1930 was the first time the world has heard of that.
It's maybe the first time that people in America or Black people have heard of it, or even white people in America. But it's not. But it's not the first time. No, that's not the original point of that theology.
Right. I guess you're trying to say like
the measurements of the earth and the universe and everything that we get from those lessons didn't begin in 1930. It began in 1930 in terms of a revelation to the Black man and woman, but it didn't begin. According to our beliefs, it's been a common thing among the wisest of our people for untold trillions of years.
Okay, so let me say this. That before 1930, those teachings were here. And they were widely known. Like that wasn't, now it wasn't common sense because the internet wasn't around. And so you had to pay for the information. But the wisest in this country, the Einsteins and everybody who's under them, like that knowledge was common to them.
I mean, I can't speak to. I mean, what were you able to confirm that through their body of work that prior to 1931, these scientists were speaking about these actual facts?
Yeah. His name is Eratosthenes. He in Egypt, he was able to find out all those measurements by just using a stick. And the math that he learned from Egypt, and just using a stick, literally, it's like a Moses staff stick. He was able to find out all of those distances from a stick and living in Egypt with their math. He found out that. So all it's been documented 2,000 years ago by Eratosthenes. And you can like YouTube him and there's videos of how he came up with his measurements. It is what it is. It's history.
Nothing. There's nothing new under the sun.
So he's the first person documented ever.
But he's the first person documented.
Right.
Doesn't mean he's the first.
Right. But I get you trying to say, but we can say that with anything though. Like you can say whoever's name down on anything. Like you can say Elijah Muhammad. We could say, hey, you weren't the first to say that. Nothing under the sun.
I mean, look at music. You know, we can hear great songs today, and then all of a sudden we find out that they sampled somebody else.
Right. Definitely. So
All right.
So science, the scientific method has come by way of the Greeks, the Romans, and that lineage, and even white folks. And like that's something that they focus on, and that's something that they mastered. They mastered science.
I don't know about that. I mean,
right.
they may have had some level of success in certain sciences, but the Greeks and Roman, their societies, they didn't, at least from what I studied of those cultures, their societies weren't described as a, you ever heard of Spock from Star Trek?
Yeah.
They weren't like a Spock-like society of people studying measurements and all that stuff. They had their own culture of that day, but we don't read anything in history that describes them as like the foundations of the sciences. Because every time we read about Europeans settling or moving into a certain area, there was always people who preceded them. So if we're talking about the Romans, you had the Etruscans. The Etruscans, their societies are for that time, very advanced. You had the Greeks, before the Dorian invasion, you had the Mycenaeans, you had all these other indigenous populations that the Greeks and the Romans uprooted. So, I give them credit for whatever science that they were able to use to get the accomplishments that they did from what we read in history, but they definitely didn't perfect it, and they definitely didn't invent it.
They definitely perfect. So now,
if they did, then let's take the Romans or Europe, for example. Prior to the Arabs, they didn't know how to sail the sea. They didn't know how to leave the continent of Europe and come to a continent like America. That's a sign.
Yeah. Well, see. Now you okay. So
I mean, Europe went through 1,000 years of living in filth in Europe. Where was the science at then?
Well, that's what happened. Okay.
The Romans at their height with Caligula, who married his horse. That. I'll give him credit, but damn it, man. Marry your goddamn horse.
Listen, man. Listen.
The Romans were opportunists, and they took advantage of the things. What were you about to say?
I said you won't get me to argue about their behavior at all, bro. Trust me.
Right.
Trust me. Yeah. Like, there's certain things that I'm gonna hold to, like science, but as far as their savageness, you won't get me arguing about that. You won't.
They perfected They perfected for the best that they could the science of war.
Yeah, everything they create till this day is with war on their mind first.
Right. So if you're talking about war, within the last 4,000 years, no one can top the European. No one can top them.
Yeah, definitely. So look, I'm going here. I came to the realization because I used to believe black did everything until I started reading. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay. So now when I go,
who's the original?
I got you, but there's some things we just didn't originate, and that's okay. Like we don't have to feel.
If he's the original man, wouldn't that make him the original thinker?
No. Well, look.
Okay.
I think we go too far with that. You look at the Egyptians. Look at them.
Mm-hmm.
The Egyptians were advanced when it comes to math, but when you look at their technology, it was very compared to nowadays, like nobody would even use that. Like ramps and stuff like that. Like stuff like that was simplistic.
You wouldn't use what?
Like their ramps. Like they use ramps. RAMPS.
Use ramps for what?
I guess carrying different things and whatever they use it for. But it also look. When like they their medical practices, their medicine practices, like that was advanced at that time. But now, like nobody would use those practices. Like that's outdated, and it's like just
That's that's the nature of time. Things
right,
fade away.
right. So
what we know, we try to perfect it and get better at it from one generation to the next.
right. So, yeah, but something happened though in between that. We got sacked. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like we got sacked. Our progressions got stumped. It stopped. Yeah. Right. So what they did was go
ahead.
They took over, and then they started to advance it.
Right.
Right.
Keep in mind that black man, imagine being the original people of the planet. You have never seen no other type of people but your own. People with black skin, whether they have what we call kinky hair or nappy hair, or whether they have straight and wavy hair, don't matter. We believe that the entire planet was black. But now, if you're the only people on the planet, or if that's all you see, and there's no disruptions, there's nothing that's got you worried about someone invading you, then naturally that kind of lifestyle will eventually create a void because you don't feel a need to home in on these different things. Right. So there was a void that white people filled to become the leaders of the world, or the top dog in all these different fields that you're mentioning.
I agree. And so all I'm trying to do is this. I'm just trying to be okay for us. It does nothing for us to keep underestimating white folks. Like we have to just give credit to what it is. Like
I agree.
Look, it makes us look worse when we act like these people were just mindless savages and they're stupid. Well, that makes it look worse. How can we be that so much advanced over them?
Right.
Lose to them. Like, okay, that's worse. Like you want to lose to your equal or someone close. You don't lose to somebody who's beneath you.
That's most of that. Most of that is ego. People don't want to admit that they've been conquered and that someone's got a leg up on them.
Right.
So that's mostly ego. Any people who have been oppressed in history, in order for them to come out of that oppression, they have to recognize that the people who conquered them has a leg up on them.
Right.
And they got to go to work to get them off up on them, get them off.
Yeah, you got to you might use their same strategy against them.
Yeah, use whatever becomes available to you.
Right. So being that they conquered the world with science, then evidently science is something that we need to use against them. So
I agree with that 1,000%.
So we need to see what are they struggling with in science? Like, what are they trying to do right now that they can't do? And that's when we try to beat them to it. So if you think about the Star Wars with Russia, the Soviet Union, and United States, like they were rushing to get out of space, because they knew outer space was the new wave. So if Russia actually got there first, then America got there. So Russia beat them. So what I'm trying to say is, like, what we got to find out is what they're struggling with and beat them to it.
I think what they're struggling with, what I believe and know that they're struggling with is trying to keep so-called third world nations from becoming technologically independent. So if they can maintain a monopoly on technology, then for them, when I say them, I mean the white race, then they can, from their perspective, they can continue to rule. But that's what I think they're struggling with, trying to keep other people from catching up to them. And I don't think it's possible. Eventually, all of us, in our own way, is going to catch up to them in these different areas of activity and remove them from power.
I mean, like, of course, that's the end game. Like we would definitely hope for that. But again, that's the end game. So now we got to develop a method to get there.
That's what Elijah Muhammad had been teaching on for the time that he taught, from 1931 to 1974, and in spirit from 1974 to today. If you look at his program, you may not agree with everything that he taught, but if you look at what got the Nation of Islam to its height, was pure science and mathematics.
See, right, here's my criticism with that.
I knew you had a critique. No.
Well, like, listen, I'm black, so and I see the condition we are in.
All right.
I see we are light years from getting out of it. So I see, okay, my criticism with that and my criticism with everything, not just that, everything that we're doing. I think we are focusing our attention in the wrong fields. Like we're saying the word math, we're saying the word science, but we're not dominating in those fields. A great statement would have been to dominate in those fields, the mathematical and scientific field. We dominate those fields.
If it was that easy, we all would do it. But when you're dealing with you got to remember, no one has ever been put in the condition that we've been put in. If you got some people who have been taught to be as hard-headed as you can possibly be, you can give them the very blueprint on how to get free. They wouldn't take it. And you know this, and I know it. They wouldn't take it because Black people don't believe that they can experience some type of, great life without white people. White people have to be involved.
So, and I'm saying even now, like, forget about 50 years ago, whatever. I'm saying right now, like, we need, we need to focus in the fields that matter, that can create a society. So, and science and math, and we're still taking it now. Of course, it's growing, but it's growing slowly. And
you're right, but how do you get people to come on board? You can't force them to.
I was going to ask you that.
If I had that answer, man, I'd be filthy rich by now.
I was going to ask you that.
You got to remember that me and your generation, I'm almost 50 years old. How old are you?
41.
Okay, I got you by almost 10 years. My generation up to now, but beginning with my generation, I'm the first generation of bastard children where our mothers chose welfare over the family. The guy was taking out a house and everything. So from my generation in the early 70s up to now, we've experienced the most advanced or worst forms of white supremacy. Prior to the 70s, white supremacy was pretty straightforward. We don't like you. We don't want you in our neighborhoods. In the story. Now you got all this stuff going on. You got chemicals in the food. You got what I would say sexual confusion. You got all sorts of things that's bombarding us, and it's going to take something monumental to get us out of that funk that we're in.
Yeah.
But white supremacy right now is at its all-time high, even more so than physical slavery, because physical slavery was simple. Whip them, keep them in line, work the fields, rinse and repeat. Today, man, you got the internet, you got food, you got, women distractions. The biggest addiction for Black men, from what I've learned from others, it's not something that I've invented, but from what I've learned from others is what they call exotic sex. We got to have ourselves a senorita or a Buffy, straight hair. Mm-hmm. I mean, if the mothership as taught by Elijah Muhammad came out of the clouds and was beginning to do its thing, all that white woman have to do is wink her eyes. That's it. She gonna defeat the mothership. He gonna go with Buffy. The most powerfulest weapon on this planet is that white woman.
In the positive and negative.
Well, I don't know about positive, but she's powerful.
No. What I mean by positive is that in our sick mind.
Okay, you're right.
Right. In our sick mind, the positive and the negative. So we, like you said, we love the exotic sex. So that's the so-called positive.
Right. Seeing that white skin or that near white skin, drive us nuts.
Right.
Even our women.
The negative is, the true nature comes out.
Right. Yeah, because like as others have pointed out, a white woman can sleep with you and she can still hate your guts. She can still call you a nigga in a heartbeat.
Listen, man, that's a fact. All right. So
right.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that You might be right. No, that's a fact.
Right. You know, and our women are trying to compete with them. So they're competing with them.
Oh my God, that'd be killing me. Like, bro, like stop it, sis.
Yeah.
Like,
you know.
So all I gotta do, look, black women are so predictable. All I gotta do is just follow white women and see what they're doing. I know our women right there.
Right. She's gonna get the hair weave. She's gonna get the crazy alien blue eye contacts.
The little dog, all that type of stuff.
Little dog. I mean, no nation of people. We're the only people who are led by our women, and this is not to put women down.
Right.
No other people are led by the women. So I would say the first part we need to start. First part we need to start is getting our women in check, and overall creating a code that we all gotta follow, no matter what our religion is. If we break certain aspect of this code, we're gonna be dealt with. So, like I was telling you last week, if Kim Jong breaks the Korean code, and if it's egregious enough, you ain't gonna see Kim Jong next week. He's done. He's disappeared. You know, so that's the only way. Otherwise, there may have to be some type of. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but we may need some type of civil war to clean out all the coons.
Nah, you're gonna definitely need that, bro.
Yeah,
you're gonna definitely need that.
Because every time someone who does really good with our people rises up, we get someone from among our own to take them out, and we make it easy for them to take them out. Like, let's say Nipsey. I'm out here in LA. You know, the people who were in that. Did you see the video?
Yeah.
The people who were in that shopping center around Nipsey, they should have been right up on that. As soon as that dude shot one time, everybody should have been on that dude. But what happened? We all ran away.
Right.
Like a bunch of cowards.
Yeah.
We all should have got on him.
Yeah.
And if you would have all got on him, I would have took a bullet for him. I would have took a bullet for any great black man that's doing something for his people, no matter where they're at. So, you know, we got to find a way to get that coward gene out of us. A lot of us are cowards. A lot of us don't want to make that sacrifice for the future. And so when I see these young people acting the way they do, and the guys at my age, that's my age, complain about it, I'm like, when I speak to them, I'm like, well, for one, we didn't leave them anything, so they have no reason to listen to us. We didn't pass anything down to them.
Right.
We left them out to dry. We left them for society to raise them. So I can't really blame them for acting the way they do. What were you about to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, when the word coward, I was going to say that I always say that the black man in America is the biggest coward in all of the black nations.
Yeah, I mean, I won't beat up on us too much. I would say that we don't do things when it counts, when it really matters, you know. And we just, like you said, we got to get on code with that. We got to be willing to, no matter what your religion is, we all got to have a universal code that we can agree with. Like, I was looking at these Hebrew Israelites arguing with somebody, and someone had posed a good question to them. They said that, okay, let's say that everything you're saying is correct. Let's just go with everything you're saying. Now what? What do we do now? We still got racism. We still got all these disadvantages. So what do we do now? You know, we're still in the listening and arguing mode. We're not going to put our money where our mouth is.
Right.
You know, like I don't go to speeches and rallies. If I'm going to get with somebody, it's going to be for business. Like, you know, you got 5-10 grand. Let's go on this business venture. Let's make a money move or something. Let's do something. Let's do something that's going to create some power. Not sit around and whine about it.
Right.
We should be past the whining stage. We know what the problem is, and what are we going to do?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you read any financial book, they all talk about solving problems. They say, listen, if you're going to be successful, get used to solving problems. They say you cannot be successful by solving problems.
All right.
So, like you said, whining all day, then that's a failure. If you're whining and you don't have a real solution,
all right,
you're a failure. You're a loser, and I won't be running.
All right. You ain't got time.
I want to know. Okay, right. So we hear all this stuff. What can we do right now? Not tomorrow. And that's another thing is, like, when you talk to people, and it's not even about that. Anything. Let's say business. You know, if you talk to average black person, they got something in their mind that they want to do. So you'd be like, all right, well, shit, let's do it tomorrow. Watch what they say.
Right.
Now I'm not. This is not my idea. It's their idea. It's their dream.
Right.
When they tell me it, I'm like, okay, well, shit, that's not something futuristic. Let's start tomorrow.
Right.
And they run from it.
Right.
So I'm like, oh man, get out of here, get out of here, get out.
And when the new Jordans come out tomorrow, you're gonna see a whole lot of people.
They're gonna be there. But you know what I do? When people share their goals with me, and if it's something like reachable that I can do, I'm gonna say, yo, let's go. And when they say no, go away, and I'm gonna go do it.
Right.
I had a friend that got mad at me because he had an idea and he didn't want to run with it. I ran with that shit. Like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna do. You give me something that makes sense, I'm on it.
We don't want to take any risk. We think we're gonna die with our money. It's like, hey, if you want to get ahead, you got to put your money where your mouth is. Get your money game right and invest.
Right.
And make it happen. You know, I didn't mean to get you off course.
Okay. So yeah, we segued it, but that was a good segue. Okay, so right here it says, so just to backtrack, it says, out of the total orbit of the universe of darkness, there spark an atom of life. So I was going back to that. I believe that he used the atom of life because, again, his education. He probably admits that he's not somebody who's worldly educated on the most latest stuff. So now I understand why he said atom. Okay, so then it says,
before you go from there, was he correct to use the term atom from your view?
No.
What term should he have used?
He should have said out of energy or mass.
Well, when we look at the sky or look at the universe,
right?
Isn't it dark?
Right. Don't forget, he's using the time.
We know there's energy in darkness.
Now I got you. But brother, I'm saying like he's talking about from the beginning. So he's using the time that there was like nothing, and then.
Well, he's not. When he uses the term beginning, he doesn't always mean from the year one of every single thing. Sometimes when he used the beginning, he also mean the beginning of calculation, the beginning of making a calendar, and not necessarily the beginning of all time.
All right. Well, guess what? We're going to read and we'll see. So so right here it says out of the total orbit of the universe of darkness, there's spark an atom of life. Okay, so let's go with that. I'm not gonna, do it well there anymore. So it said, let's go with that. Mm-hmm. So he says, once upon a time, but don't ask me when it was. Okay, so he's admitting that he does not know what's going on, right?
He doesn't know when the beginning of time was.
Right.
From the singularity.
Right. Well, okay, so let's go further. So it says, how could that atom of life make a record of his own creation? It couldn't write his own creation, the record of it, because he was the first. There was no recorders around him. Okay, so it says he was first to record himself. He says, how long was that? We can't tell. We weren't there. Interesting, because he says 78 trillion years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's saying we weren't there. We don't have a record, but then he'll tell you it was
78 trillion is different from what you just pointed out here. What you point out there precedes 78 trillion. I mean, life had been in existence for trillions upon trillions of years before that 78 trillion year marker.
I don't believe that, by the way, but go ahead.
I get it, but I mean, we're in the year what, 2019?
Yeah.
What's year one of 2019? Year one. Who decided that year one was year one of 2019? It was the Gagaurians or the Romans or whoever.
Well, I'll tell you this. In the lessons, mm-hmm. right? The actual facts.
Right.
They don't claim to be 100%, do they?
100% what?
Factual. They don't claim that. They say
who doesn't claim that?
Elijah Muhammad and Farad Muhammad in their lesson book. It says near correct. So an estimate around.
I would have to look into that because
Hold on 1 second. Hold on a second.
It's because there's a debate about that term, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I just want to show you a little something. So you know what that is, right?
Right.
So I just want to show you where it says near correct. So that means that
I agree with you. I'm not debating that. But I would have to learn the context of what he means by near correct.
Right.
Because naturally, he's not going to have us. That literature was disseminated, was distributed within a nation during the lifetime of Elijah Muhammad. So I don't think he would distribute a body of work that he believed was, I don't know.
Well, no, look. Well, let me tell you why.
Now, maybe near correct can be okay. Incomplete doesn't necessarily mean it's incorrect.
No. Look. Near correct just means an estimate. It means not right and exact. It means so it gives room for improvement, which is good. Right. So
nothing wrong with that.
Right. So that's why he gives you 186,000. That's near correct. So he doesn't give you the precise numbers in that estimate. You know, so that's good because science does the same thing. Science gives you, okay, so for example, I don't need to drop a bomb exactly on top of your house.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to drop it near your house.
Right.
That's it. And you're out of there.
Right.
So science agrees with that. Science doesn't have to be perfect. Right. It just got to be around to cause what they need to cause.
Right. You what do you call it? You round off. So instead of saying 25,000 years, or the Earth was 25,000 miles in circumference.
Right.
It's exactly 24,896.
Right. Okay. So yeah, you don't want to say exactly, and like science, I don't even think science ever uses the word exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so he says we can't tell, we weren't there. He was the only one in the whole entire darkness of the universe. Okay, so let's backtrack. When he's saying he, who is the he who was in the entire darkness of the universe?
Well, I mean, would do you take it that he means the black man?
Yes.
That's what I take it. He means the black man, but that's the singularity.
So a black man was out there in space.
Not with hands and feet. He was a small element of life.
Wait, hold on now.
Oh, you're standing up. I mean, you're gonna get something. Go ahead. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Okay. Now I'm gonna do this old school stuff right here. I'm not even gonna go to it online.
There you go.
Okay.
Go on with your bad self.
Okay. So I'm just the old school way.
Mm-hmm.
Watch this, because when he says he has a definition of the word he. So he doesn't leave it to speculation on us to like guess who he's talking about.
Right.
There you go. So when he says he, I'm gonna hold him to he.
Mm-hmm.
Especially from the author of the writing.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna tell you a page. So I'm gonna give you a chapter and page. Message to the Black Man. The chapter is God a Spirit or a Man? Page 6, first paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
God is a man, and we just can't make him other than man, like you just did. It says, lest we make him an inferior one, for man's intelligence has no equal in other than man. His wisdom is infinite, capable of accomplishing anything that his brain can conceive. A spirit subjected to us, and we not to the spirit. Habakkuk. uses the pronoun he in reference to God. This pronoun he is only used in the case when we refer to a man or boy or something of the male sex. Oh my God. Give me about a couple minutes.
How many minutes?
Yeah. Okay, I'm back.
All right.
Okay, so I almost forgot what I was doing. So he says he is only used in the case when we refer to a man or boy or something of the male sex. Are we living in a material universe or a spirit universe? We are material beings and live into a material universe. Okay. So let me go down. So as I'm looking for this, you can respond as I'm trying to find what I'm looking for.
What did I when you were quoting it, what did I do specifically that's different than what you quoted from him?
Yeah, I think he's gonna go more specific on what he mean by he. So now when he says a man, so I know we talked about this last time, but I think you kind of went on your own eisegesis. When he says, is God a spirit or a man? I'm, and most readers are led to believe he's talking about men like us. Okay, so I never read any context where he said the word man that it was anything different than you and I. And this is why he's getting on the whole spirit thing. He's laughing at the possibility of a spirit. He's saying, bro, like that's fake. Like there's no example. It's just a man like us. And even when he uses his analogies, when like he goes to dispel the angels or wherever else, like he always define them on as how we look today. So like right here, He says, "You look forward to seeing God or the coming of the Son of Man, a man from a man, and not the coming of a spirit." So God must be a man, and not a spook. So when you see that today, 2019, or any time in American history, but not world history, when you say man and not a spook, one idea pops in our head. That's how we look today. Like, we don't know a different type of man. So like, he would have to like really specify, which he never did, because
I agree with that, because when I first read that, that's how I took it. But life as we have it on the earth was different than the kind of life we lived before the earth. So we still define man as man, even at the stage of creation where he doesn't have hands and feet, but he's just a small little atom, or a small little life form out in the universe, spinning and doing whatever it is it was doing for that period of time. The earth is the beginning of human beings developing hands and feet as a result of the sun and then as a result of water. So, but now he also says that, he also admits that he could not go into or explain the kind of life it was before we began in the stages of developing hands and feet. He even says that, according to God, that our current form is still not perfect. It's still incomplete. It still needs improvement. Whatever. So we're consistently evolving, but even so, whether we're talking about from that pre-earth or pre hands and feet stage of life, or whether we're talking about the future with men, evolving into something more better than what it was.
Okay.
We still define it as a man.
So, right, arm, leg, arm, head. So he even got on the notion of calling a spirit he. So even we just read right here.
Right.
We read here, he's calling a he to an atom. So that's no different than a Christian calling a he to a spirit.
Well, not really. It's different, because who speaks to me and you? When we were out there learning, and who's speaking to us?
Okay, so maybe I forgot one key element. There's no such thing as an atom by itself, just an atom.
Mm-hmm.
There's something called the periodic table of elements. Those are atoms, and they're not he's. So you can never call an atom a he. The atoms there's 118 atoms. You got silicon, you got helium, magnesium. Those are all elements, and mostly all of them are created from a star. So an atom cannot exist without a star first. And like you said last week,
but stars are made of atoms. All material.
No.
All materials are made up of atoms.
I think you're mixing up. Stars are made of matter.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing.
Why isn't it the same thing?
Because an atom is a particular part of matter. So like, it's okay. So you got
material.
Okay, so you got
stars are made up of material. Maybe a material fire, so other forces, but it's still material.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Right. But according to, if you're saying according to Mr. Charlie or according to Mr. Peterson, the white man, maybe that's his perspective from what he studied of creation, that an atom by itself can be defined as a man, but the original man, the first man, doesn't agree with that. We believe that man was a man even before hands and feet. We weren't multisexual in that way to not be clearly defined as a man prior to the Adam, according to the teaching of Elijah Muhammad. Now, that's something I just believe. That's not something that I can prove with some microscope or something like that. I believe he's right because it makes sense to me. But now, for someone who's who's been educated in the universities of the Caucasian, I would clearly understand why they would disagree.
Well, we can say, because you just mentioned the Arabs earlier, contributing to science. They're not Caucasian, and then you got Chinese and the Indians who were practicing some form of science before the Caucasians, and even the Greeks aren't really Caucasians. So, like the only true Caucasian was the Romans and down. Like even the Greeks are not considered Caucasians.
Well, they're part of the Caucasian family.
They
may not be as pale as a German, but they are Caucasians. They lost some of their. Go ahead.
No. Okay, if you want to say part of the Caucasian family, then don't stop at Greeks, and everybody is then. It's part of. No. I'm sorry. Caucasians are part of everybody's family. It doesn't start at Greeks. It goes beyond that because the Greeks weren't the first people. And according to your doctrine,
Caucasians to us means white people.
Right. And they stem from Africans, right?
Say again?
And don't they stem aren't there original forms or originators African?
No. They're originated. Well, we just say they're originators with a black man. So
right.
For the lack of an argument, in generally, yes. But not specifically Africa, but specifically, people from
right. But aren't they right? I got you. So the people who are considered African are also considered black, correct?
Right.
Right. Okay. So now the oldest
according to the current white supremacist power structure definition, North Africans and some East Africans are defined as Caucasians. Somalis, Ethiopians, Moroccans, Egyptians, all those people are classified as Caucasian. Now, I would say they are honorary Caucasians. They're not actual Caucasians. Neo-Caucasians or near-Caucasians are like Greeks, Arabs, Persians. Their blood has been, I guess, their blood has been mixed to some degree at some point in their history with darker skinned people to take away their pale skin as compared to a German or a Nordic or a Danish type.
Okay. So back on track. Mm-hmm. So he says Adam, which shows that he does not know much about atoms because there is no such thing as just atom. That's it.
What do you mean there's no such thing as an atom?
Because you have to have a helium atom.
Well, okay, you're going into the science, the more specific science of it.
Right. So that's what I say.
Put yourself in his position. If you got a people who, for the lack of a better word, don't know their head from their what, and we've been put on the lowest rung of human people activity in terms of the way that we were raised and the way we were treated. You just can't come with them with that kind of knowledge. You got to be as simple as possible so that they won't have an excuse to say they don't get it. And then once they get it, then they can graduate to the level of how you speak about the atom. You're dealing with the atom from an Einstein more advanced level. When you got people who are now not today, but at least back then, from the time that he preached, when you have people who are deaf, dumb, and blind, and they're too dumb to understand anything, you got to be really simple with them. Very simple with them.
No, I definitely get that, but he never. So, Al-Sabr Has Arrived was written in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's in the 30s or 40s. In the 70s, we are definitely we understand science at that point. You dig? So at some point,
some of us, but generally we're still way behind.
Right, but at that point, So the 1930, 1940, that stuff, I get it. 1970s, we are big boys now.
Well, here's the thing. He did go into the details like he did go into the details the way you would probably want him to in the minister classes or classes for students who were qualified for that kind of teaching. But for the general public, he always kept it simple. But behind closed doors, I mean, their lessons are people that I've come across that elaborated to a degree that I think it would even satisfy someone like you, who's very scientific and very, more advanced on that type of topic.
Okay, so
he did go into it, but not in general.
Okay, so right here it says, so start from right there where I highlighted. You see the highlight? Okay, so he says he was the first. There was no recorders around him, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
He was first to record his own self. How long was that? We can't tell. We weren't there. So keep that in mind. We can't tell. We don't know how long it was. We weren't there. He was the only one in the whole entire dark universe. Yeah, you would be the only one there. He had to wait until the atom of life produced brains to think what he needed. Can you explain that?
He's just talking about the involvement of human beings from that beginning stage up to our current stage. If you look at, I mean, would you acknowledge that when you were just a sperm cell being implanted into your mother, trying to outrace other sperm cells, you were doing something intelligent, right? You knew that you had to go from point A to point B, right?
Yeah, the sperm cell has some type of intelligence in it.
It has an intelligence. You were doing things. You had some type of awareness. But now, can you remember that moment?
No.
Can you remember what you were doing from infantry up till age 3 or 4? So I think I think and believe what he's describing here and what you're quoting is a similar type of analogy, where the creation was a different type of creation than it became when it got to the type of creation, our being with a brain, with hands and feet. I mean, if you look at our bodies is not just one singular, it's not one singular type of existence. It's a combination of a whole bunch of different things that's alive. You got glass in our teeth. You got rubber, like the skin. You got plastic. You got every type of element that's in the earth, that's in a human being, and every type of element is alive. So you could use that same analogy with the atom, going from that stage where it didn't have that kind of brain power to record things, up until developing a brain and eventually an idea to write something down and record it. The first idea to record something to keep it here was 76 trillion years ago, or 78 trillion years ago.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this.
What are you eating? I'm just messing with you.
Well, I hadn't really eaten anything today. Last time I had to eat.
You earned it.
The last time I had to eat, remember I had to cook?
Right. Man, tearing them chips up.
So this time, all I ate was a salad, all right? A small salad. I'm talking about literally just cherry tomatoes, lettuce, cucumbers, and that's it, all right? It was small. I didn't make a big one. So now I'm eating my natural sea salt white corn chips.
Tear it up, New Jersey. You earned it.
Yeah, mixed with sometimes pretzel sticks. But look, so I want to go back to right here. You see where I highlighted?
Mm-hmm.
A little delay. Okay. He says, once upon a time, but don't ask me when it was. This whole entire chapter, bro, he's dealing with creation only. He's not talking about Earth, none of that type of stuff. He's talking about space.
All right.
He said, how could the atom of life make a record of his own creation? See, it could,
Right.
it could not write his own creation, the record of it, because he was the first. So it's acknowledging the atom of life is there. It's, like you said, no arms, no head, none of that.
All right.
So then he comes down here. He speaks about the atom of life. He said, so now he's going to like the making of this atom of life, like what it's producing for itself. So he's saying that the atom of life couldn't produce hands and feet because it can't think. Like it doesn't have that intelligence you just talked about.
It doesn't have it didn't have the environment to do it.
Or the intelligence. So that's why he said
both. Right.
He had to wait until the atom of life produced brains to think what he needed.
Right.
He said, how long was that? I don't know. So he doesn't know. But he do know the atom of life was a black man. Coming out of darkness. So this atom of life is like what you said earlier. It's not a human being at all. It's a spinning atom that has brains on it in space.
Well, it eventually developed brains
in space.
That's why you say he had to wait until the atom of life produced brains. Right,
but he's saying, okay, bro, there's a problem with that. Brains can't function in space.
We didn't say that it was functioning in space. He just said you had to wait until it produced brains to think.
Yeah, but all this in space, though. You know that, right?
Well, no, not necessarily.
Okay, let me finish reading.
The part where the atom produced brains is the Earth.
All right, well,
he doesn't necessarily spell that out in that, but we can assume that because that's the brain's the way that we understand it today. Eyesight, to be able to see, to be able to write, you can only do that inside of a planet filled with water, or filled with air, filled with.
Yeah, I don't think he knew that, especially if you say he had third grade education. I don't think he knows that science, like that.
We believe he was taught by God himself. So obviously we believe God has the science. So if God had the science and he's passing on to him, then
wait, but hold on.
He had a third grade education,
right?
But it doesn't mean that eventually he didn't get more educated as time progressed.
Well, I'll tell you this.
I mean, he was a brick mason. He was a brick mason.
Well, you could do physical things. Look, bro, like my dad was a functional illiterate and a functional crackhead. So you can do physical things, although you're lacking intelligence, but you can't do intelligent things when you can't be in the field of using your mind when you're lacking information. That's not going to work out. But you could definitely be a boxer like Mayweather and can't.
Well, he developed some intelligence to do what he did for us.
Well, look,
you gotta give him that.
Look. I mean, that doesn't take a PhD either.
Who did it before him?
Well, look what I'm trying to say. Like to understand.
Who did it before him?
No. Look what I'm saying. I'm not going into that. I'm saying that to understand what needs to be done just comes with observation and experience.
If it was that simple, someone would have been dead.
Okay. Well, now people try to do. People came up with different things.
That's right. Like, and they get the credit. But Elijah Muhammad fulfilled what they were trying to do, like your Marcus Garvey.
Now, Marcus Garvey trying to get us back to Africa. Elijah didn't fulfill that.
Well, Elijah's trying to get us in the way he is trying to get us back to Africa, but not in our current condition.
No, I'm saying, look what I'm saying. I'm saying Elijah did what he did, and others did what they did. Now, Elijah's impact was more impactful and more long lasting.
It took some. It has to take intelligence to know that, okay, in order to create a nation, you're gonna need a treasury. You're gonna need a minister. You're gonna need all these different. Someone who deals with agriculture. That takes intelligence.
That's a different type of intelligence. What I'm saying is this: when you talk about Albert Einstein and those boys, like those guys probably couldn't have done what Elijah Muhammad had done as far as gathering people and trying to build a nation, like you said, treasury. They couldn't do that.
Right.
But they were known for their intelligence alone. Like they were known for being geniuses. That's why they was able to come up with crazy equations that we apply today. Like, you know what I mean? And come up with general relativity, come up with the speed of light, come up with all these different things because they were pure.
It was already there. I mean, Einstein, who was his idol? Who did he look up to?
Well, he had a white boy mentor that came up with other stuff. I think he came with quantum mechanics. Something
He had mentors.
Right. No, look.
His mentors had mentors.
Right, yeah, but look what I'm saying though, bro. Everything they discovered was not known to mankind prior.
Well, you can't say that.
Now, well, I can't because you know I can say that. Well, look.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Okay, then you can't say Elijah Muhammad did what he did because you can't say that either. There's nothing under the sun. Somebody did it somewhere else.
I can't say that Elijah Muhammad didn't do what.
Whatever you said, whatever you try to give him credit to.
Well, cleaning black people up and teaching them to create a nation where they can do for self.
Right, it's like you said. There's nothing new under the sun.
And eventually build up a nation that was worth what, $85 million in 1970s.
Wait. Okay, bro. If you now, I'm gonna be a little petty. If you, I'm gonna be because you brought up money. If you research Daddy Grace, Father Divine, these were like religious leaders also, bro. They had way more followers, and their money was like 4 times more massive than Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they didn't do what he did.
Nah, they did what they did.
Right.
So anyway, so all I'm trying to say is, okay, just because, so we're not saying he's an actual third grader. We're not saying he's 9 or 8 years old. We're just simply saying.
Talking about formal education.
Yeah, we're just saying his education level was stumped. It was limited. So
at a certain point, it was limited, but he in his own way he graduated from it. It's like, you have plenty of people. Like I never graduated from high school. Formally my high school education is like 10th grade, but through time I was able to read on a college level or understand certain aspects of education.
Right. But bro, what I'm trying to share with you is this. I don't care how smart you and I think we are. If you don't study math the correct way, you will never learn calculus, statistics, none of that stuff, ever. And when it comes to science, if you don't get schooled in science, I don't care how much we want to be autodidacts, you will never, ever, ever understand any of those fields. Those equations are out of this world, man.
Well, you won't. We can agree with that.
Yeah, yes.
Go ahead.
So I just want to go back. So when you have I'm gonna say I graduated, but I'm gonna say I shouldn't have probably graduated. I'm gonna say like I don't believe when I left high school, I don't believe I knew anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe I retained. I don't think I learned anything. So even though I got a physical, something that's called diploma, I believe my education worth was just the same as somebody who left school in like 9th grade. So see myself, because when I had to go out in the world and learn things and certain grammar flaws and making common sentences, can't write a sentence, don't know what a sentence is, don't know how to use punctuation marks. So like that was me with a so-called diploma. So I knew that I wasn't worthy of that. That would just teachers want me out of the high school for their reason, but it wasn't because I earned anything to get out of high school. So my education was probably, to be honest, 8th, 9th grade, even though I had something is saying that I had a 12th grade. Mine was like 8th, 9th grade, man. That was it. So like you, a lot of my education came beyond high school, later, like late 20s, early 30s when I started to like read, but even still now. But my whole point is I'm just now catching up, but I should be somewhere way further than I am now. So I'm still behind. And that's why I buy these books now. I'm just trying to catch up. So my whole point is, so I will have thoughts because I'm catching up and I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I will have thoughts that are, to me, might seem like it's great. But when I share it with somebody, it's like, duh, like that ain't, that's basic common sense, in the real world. But to me, because I'm not familiar with the real world, how they think and what's normal and what's you consider like a genius, I don't know that. I'm coming into that. So to me, it seemed like a great idea or a great thought. But when you talk to people who are on that level, they're like, nah, bro, that's been said, thought, figured out. So my whole thing is I'm just going back. So when he says an animal life produce brains to think, that's to me, that's along the lines of a third grade education.
Well, I mean, he's dealing with a people who, even though it was written in the 70s, we've only been free to participate in the general system for like 50 years. But even at the beginning of that 50 years, there was still a breaking in period. So it wasn't like we were in general walking around here, being these super geniuses like we think we are today. Not me and you, but a lot of these people who are on the corner, preaching whatever it is they preach. So, it may seem pretty simple, but it's in so many ways it's profound when you really think about it in a more deeper way. Sometimes you don't need elaborate English or elaborate math equations to explain life, explain creation. Eventually you would have to get into the more deeper aspects of education to explain the science of it. But just the basic foundations, just to spark the interest of the listener, it doesn't have to be that complicated.
Right.
It was that simple knowledge that produced great men like Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali, Louis Farrakhan, etc.
Well, I will say this. I don't think believing this right here.
Say again?
I said, I'll say this. I don't think believing this right here sparked them to be great. I think they had greatness already in them, and Elijah Muhammad had provided whatever they need. Like he filled in voids for whatever they was missing to go and be who were they going to be.
Right.
But
they're their own gods. He brought out what was
the best in them. Right.
He brought out what was already in them.
Right. Exactly. So now there's nothing educational about saying that an atom had brains. Now,
why isn't that educational? We're made of atoms and we have a brain. What's so?
No. We're made of molecules, man. Right.
The very foundation of all life is the atom.
Yeah. But listen.
Beyond that.
Well, no. That's not the foundation of life. Foundation of life are quarks, and then protons, neutrons, electrons.
Still an atom.
No. Wait, bro. An atom.
I know you've been reading all them books.
No. Okay, so
it's not that. That's not
I'm
that.
not going to say far too here. I'm just going to say this: protons, neutrons, electrons. They're called subatomics. Quarks. Mm-hmm. Quarks are the smallest thing you can break it down to. It's quarks. Mm-hmm. Okay, so no, there's a building process that leads everything to everything.
It's okay. It's easy to. I won't say that me and you are being what we call Monday morning quarterbacks, but the way that you can judge the program of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his accomplishments.
Right, but brother, you're going somewhere further. I'm not judging the program. I'm not judging.
You said that that term, the atom of life had to produce brains, is simple or elementary.
It's worse. It's unscientific.
Well, what makes it unscientific?
Because he's speaking about creation, brother. He's saying that there's an atom out there by itself spinning and it's trying to figure out what it want to do with itself. And it had to create brains to think what he needed.
You don't have to take it. Don't take it literal.
And that's what I was doing.
He's talking in general,
bro.
He's talking about creation in general.
This is what needs to be done, and this is why science is undefeated. Science allows room for error, room to grow, and room to omit and just write it all over in a different way. But so now if I was reading this right here, this is 1970. This is, we're 50 years after that. Technology has advanced, information has advanced. I would do this part over real easily and just use modern science.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think I don't take it that he's describing an atom that's floating around space with a brain.
Bro, that's what it says right here. I mean, it doesn't say anything else.
I'm telling you, what he's describing basically is a human being that developed brains to think about what they need. Going from one stage of existence to the stage of a human being with a body, with brains to think of things.
So let's find out. It says the atom of life produced brains to think what he needed. Right. How long was that? I don't know, brother. So that wasn't now, because he would say that's right.
All he's saying is that he doesn't know how long it was before people developed hands and feet. That's basically.
All right. I don't. Well, I read that same verbiage up here, and he was talking when he said, "I don't know how long something was ago."
I can quote you from him saying that very thing that I'm saying.
Okay. Now, right here,
he's saying that in a different way. Well, go ahead.
Well, no, this is all in the context of creation. Okay. So look right here. So right afterwards, I don't know, brothers, but he was a black man coming out of total darkness at that time. See, that time. So he's talking about creation. We all could say that we are produced by a white God, but there was no light nor any white anywhere. There was all darkness. So God revealed to me in that darkness, which had no end to it, that darkness created an atom of life. See? So the atom of life was there. It was nothing else but the atom of life at that time. So then he says, and to the color to be the color that had to be black, as there was no light, therefore it had to be the color of the thing that created it. Now that's not scientific either, but I'll leave it alone.
Well, so you may not agree that it's scientific, but you do agree that all things that the universe is composed of had to start from darkness. You agree with that?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
All right, go ahead. Were you about to quote?
So now we are at same chapter, but at verse 30, chapter 32. So it says, the black man's God. Why do you reject the black God when the black God is your God? The black God made the white God. Why do you reject him? Long before ever there was, as the old people used to tell me when I was a little boy, and when and aware he was God. I bear them witness today. Just think it over. A little atom of life rolling around in darkness. Think it over. Building itself up, just turning in darkness, making its own self. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Making his own self. That's why the brains are there to figure out what to add next. And then it says, let's go into it. Do I have any proof of this? Yes, sir. He made himself into total darkness. He put his own self turning on his own timetable in the black womb of the universe. He started rotating. He demands every life that comes into the universe today to start turning first. Over to me, for I had to do myself. Now I'm going to see that every life that comes into the universe comes out of total darkness. Every life. Yes, sir. It must come out of total darkness. Out of the womb of our mother did we come. We created there out of the sperm that was emitted into the total dark room. The womb. It took that to make that child. He couldn't be made in the light. He must be made in total darkness. Okay. So it says, we must know ourselves. We must know the nature of life. We must know the law of life before we ever can say we are, say that we are masters. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, that makes sense. So we should definitely went into the fields of science and math hard, especially he's preaching that. Okay. So now it says, now, if by nature we are born in total darkness, think it over. And if by nature life brings us out of darkness, and if by nature we walk in light from out of total darkness, And if by nature we can think through darkness, see, that's why the brain was there, and bring light out of that darkness by our own brains. So he's saying we can do what we did in the origins. We did so with the white race. Look right into the sperm of life and find him. He's unalike. Take it. Separate it. Your first separation from the white and black was done. Now you say no separation will settle it. So it says it won't settle with you, maybe, Mr. Fool, but it will, as once upon a time you cannot see out of darkness. Now today you can see out of light. Who was it that did this? Was it a white guy or a black guy? It was a black guy. That's who did it. He has taken his universe, think it over, and engulfed it with the path of light that you call the Milky Way. Think that over. He engulfed his own universe with nothing but a path of light. He made the light so close to each other that the light of this one never stops before this one ties his light in that with that one. It was a whole path of nothing but light, a belt around his universe. So now he's saying. So now, what about this part? He says it was a whole path of nothing but light. So I'm confused because he said it was total darkness.
What was total darkness?
In the beginning, and now he's saying it was a whole path of nothing but light.
Right. The light meaning what? The universe?
No, he's saying the light was in. He said, "Look, a belt around his universe." So we read before that everything had to be black because it's in total darkness, and there was no light. And now he's saying it was a whole path of nothing but light, a belt around his universe.
Right.
So that can be a contradiction.
So what's I guess what's your issue with it or question about it?
No, I just find it contradictory that at first he said there was no light, it was total darkness, and now he's saying it was a whole path of nothing but light, a belt around his universe.
Well, it's just like if you read in the Bible. In the Bible, it says that in the beginning, this is the way we interpret it. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, yada, yada. So he went from the beginning of God creating the heavens and the earth. We take that to mean he's creating the universe. He's creating planets, stars and planets, and etc. From that point in the Bible up till Genesis 1:26, he's describing the making of man, the making of a human being. This can be parallel with that. So when I say that, the point I'm getting at is that from the darkness that he described to that belt of light that you just highlighted, is trillions of years. He's describing trillions of years of history building itself up from one point to another. That's all he's describing.
Okay, so let me see. Okay, I can't create a man with that. So it says right here, it says, this is paragraph 28, going down, maybe like, it says maybe 2/3 going down. It says, God can't make a man without a help. No. He was self-created himself. Okay, no. That's different. He's quoting Christianity. Okay, so, all right. Now, chapter 11. I don't know what paragraph this is. I didn't put this one.
Mm-hmm.
But he says he has the power that he doesn't have to go and fix up mechanically to produce. But he say be, and there it is. Coming into space, B, there it is. Just orbits, just burst out of space. Now that sounds like that spook guy that he was against.
Why does it sound like a spook guy?
Because the spook guy says B and there it is.
Well, in the word be, you can have the word begin. It doesn't necessarily mean that when he says the word be, that things just come into existence, but rather the God is putting things in motion to get to an end result. So if I'm I don't know, the Wright brothers, they supposedly create the airplanes, right? The Wright brothers.
Yeah.
They create the airplanes, but in that beginning stage, the airplane today was nothing how it was in the beginning. But we can say that in their own way, the white man said, "B, I'm going to create an airplane." So B is just a process. It's just a process of putting things together, using mathematics, trial and error, and then from one generation to the next, improving on that idea. Sometimes the fulfillment of the word be can come through your child, through your progeny. You know? So it doesn't necessarily mean something that's being produced right then and there. It takes a lot of time for that word be to be final, depending on what it is. Whether we're talking about a planet or whatever the God is trying to create or trying to get to.
Okay. Well, he says he has power that he doesn't have to go and fix up mechanically to produce. So he doesn't have to wait for the process. That's what he's saying here. He says, but he say B, and there it is, coming into space. B, there it is, just orbits, just bursts out of space.
Right. So he doesn't have to go and fix it up, because he knows, at least this is what our understanding of God is. He knows that once that thing that he's trying to create gets to that point where, okay, it's here it is, bam, right in our face. It doesn't need no mechanic.
Okay, yeah, I think you're exactly right when you said that, because it's
just like the Earth, and if we didn't have an white supremacist imperial type of rule on the planet, the Earth can produce so much food that each human being on the planet can eat as much as they want, and they can never exhaust the resources. Somebody at some point created a system where it would produce material like that. Or you can use another analogy of some other invention or thing.
Okay.
Now, in terms of like something mechanical, like literally mechanical, that might be a different story. Mechanical things need maintenance and whatnot, but as long as it gets that maintenance, it's going to function just fine. As long as it gets the basic maintenance it needs to maintain itself. Who were you about to quote?
No, I was saying, yeah, you were right in that explanation, because that's pretty much what he said afterwards. So, yeah, so I just want to say you were right when you explained it that way, because that's exactly how he put it. You know, just not, in shorter words, but he definitely made it just like how you said it. He just made it concise, because as I further read, that's exactly what he pretty much said.
Yeah, he's trying to keep things as simple as possible. Remember, you're still dealing with the people who are very naive, very, in some cases, silly. Like, imagine you being a teacher and you got one student in the back of the class who wants to eat crayons. So you gotta keep a student like that in mind. Okay, this dude, he's back there acting silly, so I gotta make sure that I make it so simple that it's stupid proof.
So, but that was definitely me eating chalk. So here, I guess it's like a rhetorical question in chapter 12, paragraph 12. He says, we have never known where he himself began or who was first. Oh, no, never mind. Mm-hmm. That pretty much answers itself. Okay, I guess this part.
Red or black? Highlight, black, highlight.
Right here in the black bold.
Mm-hmm.
So it says chapter 23, verse 9. Chapter 9.
Right.
No, paragraph 9, my bad. Chapter 23, paragraph 9. As God created the present heaven and earth out of nothing. So when he says nothing, what does he mean really nothing, or is he just using that to relate to us, the dumb lost found?
In a I guess in a way. Because the nothing, the nothing means that it can also means not being productive. When you're not productive and you're not doing anything to try to make your surroundings better, then you're doing nothing. So you could say the black man for 400 years, we did something for white people with slavery, with sharecropping and all the stuff we did for them. We did something for them to get them material gains. The material gains is a something, but we didn't do anything for self. So for 400 years, we did nothing. We were unproductive. And even when we were free, we were unproductive, meaning unproductive for self. So the nothing just means the opposite of productivity. Or the product, our environment needed to create a heaven and the earth.
Okay. Well, there was a lot going on.
When?
At the time of the beginning, that some call the Big Bang.
Right.
There was definitely nothing going on. There's a lot of things going on at that time.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Nothing in terms of as it relates to having a planet, but yes, there was a lot going on leading up to the creation of a planet. Yes, I agree with that. There was definitely a lot going on.
Okay, so let's see. So paragraph 62, You see in the red right here?
Yes.
Okay, so it says he made a brain which had the power. So let me just go up to the first where it starts off. It's paragraph 62. Matter of fact, let me go to 52 first. Because again, we're dealing with beginnings again. The making of the white race was something new. The difference between the two people, black and white, is that the white race is a made people and they have a beginning and an ending. The black man is a created people and we have no beginning nor ending. Okay, now, he says in paragraph 62, he says, this is like the creation of us. In the beginning, so we're dealing with the beginning, clearly here. Right? So it's not now or on earth. This is like the creation of us. In the beginning, the God who created us had no material to use to begin a creation. He had only himself. And therefore, out of darkness and the thoughtless and invisible, he brought out of the visible vision and thought and idea. He made a brain. So we're still talking about the beginning. He made a brain which had the power to cover the sphere of our thinking and to produce from that thought what image or vision that the brain cells could conceive. These things at that time were all new. There was no plan or universe except his. This is our Father, the black man, the maker. So clearly here, bro, the brains were in the atom, in the space.
Well, look at the idea of brain, like, look at you laughing. You eating your little chips and you're laughing. I see East Coast.
Stop it. I can't breathe.
This man, he's in New Jersey eating his special deluxe salt chips, salt things, whatever you call them. You know, I see you.
Now look, I can bring stuff to the camera. I have a healthy. I don't know too many people who eat more healthy than I do.
Oh no, I ain't saying anything healthy. No.
No. These are not healthy. These are not healthy. But I just said I ate a whole salad. That's all I ate today. And I was talking about throwback salad. I'm talking about lettuce, tomatoes, and cucumbers.
No spinach?
I had the spinach leaves. So the spinach leaves. So we ain't talking about all this extra stuff they put in salad. Nah.
Right.
So yes, I have the chips and pretzels to snack because I say this. I'll let you continue.
Uh-huh.
We all handle depression in our own way.
Right.
So with that thought, this is why I don't get on anybody on how they want to cope with depression.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's there.
Yeah, hell, you can't be a black man living in this racist world and not have some kind of depression going on. So,
all right, we're born right into it. But you can go ahead. So
let me see. You started at 52. Let me see. And
yeah.
Hang on.
So paragraph 62 is probably 52. I read that because I seen the word beginning or ending. But
all right, I'm just kind of recapping it. This is like the creation in us in the beginning. God who created no material to begin a creation. Yeah, no material to begin a creation. He only had no. Well, at that stage, when it says that he had no material to use to begin a creation, doesn't necessarily mean that there was no material around. Eventually, that material. Now, let me back up. When we say he, sometimes we're not always describing a singular he. We can call it a majestic.
Trinity?
Go ahead.
Trinity.
We repeat that again.
A Trinity.
A Trinity.
A Trinity.
Like transvestite?
No, a Trinity.
I'm just joking with you. No, not a Trinity. I'm just joking.
A transvestite.
Not a Trinity, but
yo, man, you got me hot. I'm doing this laughing, man.
Unbutton that shirt, bud. Get some.
Yeah.
Is it still sticky out there?
Today it wasn't sticky at all. It was like nice and cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Like right now, I have no air conditioner on. Like when it's sticky, you gotta have the air conditioner on. Because it's sticky, but it's not really hot.
Right.
You need an air conditioner, so you're gonna be freezing no matter what. But nah, the AC is off, so it's tolerable. Like I can sleep like this, but I'm gonna throw the AC on when I'm about to go sleep. I'm gonna throw the AC on just in case, because you don't want to go to bed and then the stickiness come at 4 or 5 a.m. because you can't sleep in it. You gotta wake back up and turn the AC on and just either mess your sleep up.
Right, I agree. But so when he says he doesn't always necessarily mean a singular he like John Doe or something like that. The way I like to describe it is like they say in the Quran, or the Islamic scholars describe it as the majestic we, or when he's saying he's really describing the human family, the black humanity at that stage of creation. So it's not necessarily describing a he in singular, but multiple. We don't get too much. We don't really get anything in terms of a description of this actual single being going from a single being with nothing else around to multiple. We don't have any record of that, so it's almost impossible to describe. It's just like, imagine being born and you're the first thing that's ever existed. But imagine being born with the body that you have, but you don't have a mother or a father. You're the first witness of yourself, right? So we don't have a history describing creation from that point of God becoming aware of himself as he was as an atom to what we're reading about with the universe and brains and all that stuff. Between that point and the universe and brains and all that stuff, we're talking trillions upon trillions of years. But it says here, let me see, it says, no material to you. He only had himself. Therefore, out of darkness and thoughtlessness and invisible, he brought out the visible and thought and idea. So yeah, at that stage of creation, the only place the creation or the being can vision is a thought inside of his brain, and it has his own thoughts. He doesn't have eyes to see, because in order for us to see, you need air. You need a earth with an atmosphere with air for your eyes to see from one point to another. He's talking about an inner vision. In that inner vision, that inner vision, or that vision, that particular vision was a vision to create a life that can see outside of itself. It says he brought out the vision and thought and idea. He made a brain which had the power to cover the spirit of our thinking. So this part here in red is almost like describing like a memory stick. You got some memory sticks that have 4 gigabytes. You have some that has 8. You have some that has a whole lot more. The more material material brain that the being has, the more memory and information it can take in to cover his entire environment, the entire universe, the entire earth, everything.
All right. Are you ready for the big news?
That's I mean, hell, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough thing to really unpack. Go ahead. What's the really big thing?
So you see that right there that I highlighted?
Yes.
Okay, you see chapter 26?
Yes.
Go ahead and read paragraph 20.
Read it?
Yeah.
It says the will of Allah must be done. Allah cannot have a will himself until he has brains. Okay.
Keep reading.
Until he had brains himself. Allah was created, self-created from an atom of life. The atom of life was not only able to create flesh and have blood from the earth that he was created on, Allah was created on the very earth that we're on today. Keep reading?
Yeah.
But the earth was not as it is today.
Okay. So again, he loves his brain stuff. So
you needed to think.
In space?
Anywhere, whether in space or whether on Earth. You need a brain to think. Bunch of goddamn retarded atoms floating. Bunch of retarded atoms floating around, bumping into you. Got bumping into stuff. Yeah, we don't need a 78 trillion year version of T-Bone and little Tay-Tay.
Nah. As the Earth cooled, the atoms, of course, were molecules at that point, and they had this we get the term molecular structure.
Right.
They were moleculars. So, and this is how they created the stars. So as the Earth, so after the fiery, dense state of the universe, and it expanded, matter and everything spread apart. Space started to get real large in a matter of no time. And it was very, very hot. But as it cooled down and kept cooling, and kept cooling, and kept cooling, and kept cooling, it cooled down to so much of a degree that the matter started to clump up, and they start to form moleculars. And then that's how the stars were created. So they weren't retarded. They just needed to cool. The atoms just needed to cool the environment so they could finally clunk up and form something.
We say, the Nation of Islam, we say that someone willed that star to become what it was. Now, the original willer of that idea may not be alive to see wouldn't be alive to see the end result of his creation, but it put it in motion. So what we're saying is that thoughts is like a thought is like energy. And once you put that energy out into the atmosphere or that put that idea out in the atmosphere, you won't necessarily be around to see the fulfillment of that idea, but eventually someone with the right material, or the right time with the right material, can be influenced by that idea and make it a reality. Fulfill what that person thought about. I mean, the people who created the airplanes, the Wright brothers, they had no idea that the people who would follow them would improve upon their creation to the point of what we see today. But they set it in motion, when they did. What about this part here you're going into?
Okay, so this is the last thing. I'll make it bigger. Okay. Yeah, so this is the last thing.
Okay.
So can you read that?
According to Allah's teaching to me, the age of the present earth is around 76 trillion years old. Of course, the earth material does not decay fast, but it is decaying. Science proves this.
Right. Okay. So it's with that. So he agrees that science proved that decaying happens, right?
Yes.
Okay. But science, also that same science that he's on the side with, that same science says 76 trillion years is too damn old. Like, that's too long. That same science is saying 13.8 billion years.
Well, he didn't say whose science.
Okay, so when he says science proves this, who he's talking to?
He's quoting the gods, the science of the gods. He's not quoting the science of Einstein.
Are you sure? I'm gonna get my book and read the rest of this.
Well, maybe some science. Just like you said. I mean, it's like you said. No, I don't. No scientist agrees. No modern day mainstream scientist agrees that the Earth is 76 trillion years.
Right.
So we know it's not them when he says 76 trillion.
No. He's saying no. Of course. Now he didn't say they agree with that. He said scientists agree that there's decaying, a decaying process. Now scientists do say that.
That scientists do say what about decay.
There's a decaying process with everything that's
right
known.
Right.
So,
and
what's
your question? Or
no. So what happens is he's confirming modern science when he says that
about decaying.
Yeah, that's why he said science proves this, because science definitely does prove that. Like they can prove that very easy with radioactivity. So, which is the half-life and all that type of stuff. So he's on the side of science with that, but then he's on the wrong side of science when he says 76 trillion. So if you're going to go with science prove that the Earth and everything is decaying, then why not go with all what science is saying?
Because you're saying that the new man, his numbers are right and the original man's number is wrong.
Well, the new man has a method to show how his number.
The only method we can use to judge the age of the Earth is record keeping, or documentation, or record keeping.
From who?
By the original man. Now, can I say to you, Bobby Harris, here's something on a page of a book that says that year one began 78 trillion years. Even if I presented to you even if I presented that to you, it can be easily, I guess, discarded because one could say, oh, well, someone just made that up.
Yeah.
So eventually what it comes down to is either people believe that number is real or they don't. We happen to believe it's real because it makes the most sense to us.
Well, it doesn't really.
The black man is the original man. So why wouldn't the original man be the original recorder of history and time?
I'd say that's the thing. I think that teaching has become superficial, where
76 trillion years.
Yeah, it's like superficial. Where again, we are attributing everything that's like a worth to be known.
Mm-hmm.
Black folks had it first. And when we do that, we are no different than our oppressors who says the reverse. Our oppressors come in saying black folks did nothing, white folks did everything. They don't want to really admit openly. Now, they might do it in little scientific journals or like that, but they won't openly admit to the public, to the layman, the contributions that African has given the world that white folks have piggybacked off. They won't admit that. They want to act like we didn't contribute anything, and they did everything. So when during the 60s, 70s, well, we started to use that reverse psychology where we started to say, well, we did everything, you didn't do shit. And
some may say that, but we, the Nation of Islam, we don't say that. We recognize the white man and his accomplishments for what they are.
Okay. So
and we're taught that as long as that flag is still up, you got to respect him. Got to give him his respect. You got to give him his props. You know, I mean, we're here in America for a reason. And that reason is because he was able to deceive our forefathers. You can call that deception whatever you want, but he used that deception to outsmart our forefathers to enslave us. Got to give him his props. It is what it is, you know. But with the 76 trillion year number, you know, someone has to be right and someone has to be wrong. By faith alone, not necessarily by any other scientific mean. By faith alone, I believe what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us about the black man's record of time over the new man, based on belief alone, our faith.
Right. And this is why I'm saying that the nation right now is doing a disservice to itself by not updating its information. You know,
what will be a good way for them to update it?
Okay. Well, okay. So it doesn't make sense for. Well, this is probably why there are no really mathematicians in the nation or scientists in there, because they hold on to these belief systems that are never proven to be true. It has no method of how they came up with this type of stuff. It just.
What other method do you need them to put something on a piece of paper? Now I guess you can call this an esoteric type of teaching, but there are some ministers that teach that the atmosphere, that the black man is able to gauge the history of the planet from the atmosphere, and
right.
that the atmosphere is like a computer where information is stored. I think the Japanese call it I don't think I'm pronouncing it right, but it's called the Akashi effect. I don't know if it was an A or H. And basically this effect or this system involves the atmosphere, and that everything, all the history that the planet has is stored up there. So that's one way that we believe that history can be recovered or recalled, along with writing. So we have a history of writing, and we also have a history stored up there in the atmosphere that if we have a strong enough brain power, we can tune in on it and recall certain events. That's what we believe. That makes sense to me.
I mean, I guess someone call that folklore, mythology.
Yeah.
Spookism.
I wouldn't call it spookism because you do have an atmosphere.
Well, of course you wouldn't, but people.
Because people are doing things right now at this moment that were ideas of people who existed long before they were born.
Give me an example.
Those thoughts and those ideas. I mean, look at Constantine. His idea was to conquer the world under the Christian banner. I believe Constantine laid the foundation for white supremacy, but Constantine had an idea to conquer the planet in the name of the cross. Well, eventually that idea was fulfilled through the British, and then lastly the Americans. You know, So ideas are put out there all the time, and eventually human beings fulfill those ideas, fulfill those things. Are they able to recall those ideas and make it happen, even if they are unaware of where they got it from? It's in the atmosphere. It's in the air. Enough people have that idea, then it's going to change the thinking of the population. It's like America, the world is using the US dollar. I'm pretty sure if you ask the average person throughout the world, you know, why do we use the dollar and not use our own currency? I'm pretty sure most people wouldn't be able to give you an answer to that, even though many who study the monetary system would be able to answer that. But most people don't. They just do it instinctively. They use a dollar instinctively. You know? So I wouldn't underestimate the power of the atmosphere. I mean, you got all these goddamn women left and right twerking. You even got twerking class. Where that idea come from? Who in the hell put in the atmosphere the goddamn twerk?
Now look, I don't deny. One thing I don't deny is that a lot of white folks' advancements definitely comes from an idea that was already here, that was most likely African, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but this is what I mean by update. So I'll show you this. So you see where it says where's it at? WDF, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, in science, they actually got an equation for WDF.
Mm-hmm.
Work equals distance and force.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how it's you know, Elijah Muhammad talk about do for self, work. And here you have an equation, WDF, work equals distance and force, which like can actually go along, you know, like you say esoteric, like that can definitely be an esoteric teaching to the WDF. You know, so when I say update, I would do something like that. Like I would go ahead with the esoteric and even with the creation. Okay, now when it says 76 trillion, I wouldn't teach that to youth that we expect to educate and dominate the earth. I wouldn't teach that to them because that's just not science. But what I would do is I will hold that in a different realm of like maybe mythology, because Africans or Black people, as you call them, ancient times, we taught everything on mythology. Like they never believed this was the history, but this is how they pass. It's easier to pass stories of your history down with stories, you know. So example, we deal with Santa Claus. Okay, he's fake, but it's really based off a true story. So, you know, or true events or a true person. It came down to like some fairy tale stuff, but the story itself is just not pure fiction. It is based off Chris Kringle, whatever his name is. So it is based off somebody who was giving out gifts at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if I'm in a nation and I'm trying to be scientific literate, if I'm trying to push scientific literacy and, you know, push us to go towards higher education and mathematics, so like engineering, the whole STEM thing, then I will find a way to reintroduce this. I wouldn't package it, because right now during the time of Elijah Muhammad, when you say third grade education, like that was normal. So that's nothing. The average person that lived down south didn't have nothing. They all had, you know, third, fourth, no school at all. So that was pretty prevalent for anybody Black that was in the South. So that wasn't like a rare anomaly, nothing like that. Like that was pretty prevalent. So now at that time, knowledge was not popular. It wasn't like something that was clear like it is now. So here, anybody who doesn't know something, they are literally a willing fool, because the knowledge is so it's everywhere. So bliss is everywhere. It's easy to just Google something and get the facts right here, you know, right there.
Some facts, not every fact. There's so the earth has so much knowledge in it that we may think with Google or the internet that we have everything at our hands, but we don't. I mean, you got cuneiform writings, for example. We can't read a lot of these cuneiform writings. We don't know what.
Now, look, now let me say this: the cuneiform writings, it can be read. That was just symbols.
Some can't. Much of it can't.
The cuneiform it's a writing system. It's not a language like the hieroglyphics. That's a language. The cuneiform, that's nothing but just symbols. It just like for example, if like emojis, if I say eyes, or I might say eyes, so that means I'm looking at you, looking at, and then letter U. Like so like that's what cuneiform was. It was just
it's not that simple. I mean, English. How old is English?
I don't know.
English is about.
Got to be like
American English.
It had it come. Well, English itself.
English is about 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
But there's certain terms. There's certain ways that English is composed that it can't. It's not a bridge language to the ancient languages that are written in cuneiform. So we may have some idea, like we can translate to some degree some of the old linguistic writings of the Hittites. A lot of scholars believe that the European languages all derived from their language or the languages in that region. But getting back on the point you just made, the 76 trillion year number it makes more sense than what's presented to us in religion. In religion, we're taught. In religion, we're taught that God did things at a certain point, but there's no date and time. So compared to religion, it's a more practical option to wrap your mind around. Now compare that to the mainstream.
Yeah,
that comes down to who that comes down to who you believe. Do you believe the new man, or do you believe what's or do you believe what's preached about?
Well, hold on.
The original.
Okay, so we got to stop saying original because we didn't really.
Original.
Okay, look. You saying new man and original man? It's not that simple.
You don't believe there's an original man?
Look.
You don't believe there's a first?
No, I'm trying to explain. Well, first of all, we were in our beginning stages of humanity. Really, if you want to talk about the ancient, like we were just coming. Again, like we just started writing. That was the first writing.
But that's the thing. No one knows. We know the accomplishments of Europeans, starting from the Greeks. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
But we don't know for the most part, we don't know what the black man's accomplishments were because all that stuff was hidden. It's been hidden away. We don't know. We don't know the full accomplishments of the Egyptians, the Indians here in America, all these.
But you won't let me finish.
I'm gonna let you finish.
Okay.
Why are you eating your little chips? I'm gonna let you finish. But when everywhere the white man came, there were already people here. There were people here in America. There were people here in Asia. There were people here in Africa. He doesn't know the highs and lows of these civilizations. It's too much history. It's too much to that have to be uncovered to figure out what was going on. But my point is that that it's fair to say that number is justified because the black man is the original man and has measured every part of the earth, and for that matter, every part of the universe.
Okay.
We believe it's the first, and we believe that there's more than enough from these different civilizations or the sites of these civilizations to prove that he had the technology to do it.
Technology, right? But we're talking about science now.
Well, science and technology, to some degree, to go hand in hand.
No.
Technology is a science, right?
Listen. Technology is the application of science, but technology can be used without science. Okay. You don't have to know science.
Either way, you have to admit that it's a science.
Look. I think you're mixing it up. I think, a lot of times when people see that science use things, people thinks it's science. No, like right now I got my screen up. I can literally type in technology versus science. It's going to tell you a definite definition of technology and science. Technology is to pursue a particular goal. You don't have to know the hows and whys.
You're using a science. You're using a science to think of the idea, and you're using a science to put your fingers on the keyboard.
We have to communicate. So what I'm saying is this: technology, you don't need to know the hows and whys. You just are trying to accomplish a task. So this thing was invented to accomplish a task. We don't need to know the hows and whys. For example, you have the self-checkout in supermarkets. Mm-hmm. The customers don't need to know how and why it's put together. It just accomplishes a goal. I self-check out here. Now, that's technology. Science, when you're doing science, you will be forced to know the hows and whys.
Well, here's the bottom line. We believe that the Black man accomplished keeping record of history the longest, more than any other people. We believe.
Well, we I don't believe that. Now let me say that.
Because how could you describe? I mean, how could you say that we're the first people on the planet, but we weren't documenting things. We weren't,
because I just told you, bro.
We weren't exploring.
Bro, we just started writing, man.
How do you explain the omics? You ever heard of the omics?
Right, but listen, bro. Listen, what I'm trying to say. Before we started writing, there was no documentation.
Wait, back up from the beginning. Before who started writing?
The original man. Before they started writing, there was no way to document anything.
Yeah, but the original man has been writing for a long time.
No, there's nothing past the Egyptian civilization of writing.
When we study Egyptian history, it doesn't begin in a way that says, "Hey, I'm the first Egyptians," and then we reach this point in our theology, et cetera, et cetera. When we study Egypt, when we study all these ancient nations, from whatever we can decipher of those ancient nations, the history begins abruptly. It doesn't begin like a Genesis from point A to point B. It's an abrupt beginning. So that means that there was plenty going on before the explorers documented. No.
They okay. When you deal with Egypt, they have dynasties and kingdoms like that, right? They documented themselves what they did and what they knew and what they did not know. So all you got to do is just go to the dynasties and what they did. Like they actually wrote on their walls and.
Well, maybe that particular dynasty did.
So look. So you got Nubia,
right,
which is older than Kemet, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's I mean, I consider them in the same region, but yes, that's
no. Like, the Nubians came in Egypt and conquered at one point. And
some consider Nubia to be southern Egypt.
Okay, listen. They were. I'm gonna say this. According to themselves and the Egyptians themselves, they were totally different people, because when Nubia conquered Egypt for a short period of time, they had sculpted their god Taharka. Okay. So now this guy was clearly different than, and again, the Egyptians acknowledged him being different. The Nubians acknowledged him being different. That's why they conquered it, right? So they both knew they were separate people. As a matter of fact, when the Egyptians wrote about, drew images of the Nubians, they made them black, dark, and they didn't call themselves black, dark. They call themselves like maybe my complexion. But when it came to the Nubians, they colored them a distinctive color different from themselves. So they were clearly two different people. Now, once the Nubians conquered Egypt, that's when they started to build their pyramids. And there was nothing like the Egyptians, by the way. They was like, like we wouldn't even call those pyramids what the Nubians did, by just based off definition of what a pyramid is. It's just a base and going up. That's called a pyramid. But so they kind of watered it down. But if you talk to anybody, let's say a 10-year-old to a 7-year-old, ask what a pyramid is, ask them to draw it or show you a picture, they're going to always go to Egypt. They're not going to go anywhere else. And if you show them something else, they're going to be like, that ain't a pyramid, because they know that when you say pyramid, there's this phenomena that's in your mind. That's in your mind. Anything else is considered pyramid by definition, but it's not pyramid by conception. That's not what we think of. So the Nubians, they didn't have their writing style, from what I know, came after they conquered Egypt. So they started to steal their techniques and their pyramid making, and they did their own thing, was sloppy.
Still like, okay, we're the Egyptians. We don't want you Nubians to write like us. That kind of stealing.
No, it had nothing to do with that. I'm saying like when Nubia got there, it wasn't like they said we don't want to write because they never thought Nubia would come in there and sack them. But my thing is this. So it was never like let's keep it from Nubia. What I'm saying is this: when Nubia went in there, they learned like the Greeks. They learned how to do stuff now that they couldn't do before. Like there's no record. Like their pyramids is all their pyramid structures are all after they conquered or they sacked Egypt. All after that. All their writing is records after they went into Egypt, like the Greeks. So they had no writing.
But that's the natural course of history. Civilizations rise and they fall.
Right. So my whole point is saying all that we got a date when writing was first introduced to mankind.
Repeat that again. We have a date when writing was first introduced to mankind.
Yeah, because
where did this occur?
Okay,
so according to what you've studied.
All right, so we're right here. Don't forget, we are on the internet.
We're going to Mr. Whitey, right, Mr.
No, not Whitey, because no, not Whitey. See, the thing is, bro, you keep missing.
Let's see what Biff, Chuck, and Larry said.
No, it's not about Whitey. It's not about Whitey because it's written down, like in their language, and their language is read by you got African nations like Coptic, and you got African nations who write similar to or have a similar vowel structure similar to the Meta Netta, the hieroglyphics. So like they can literally read their writings, and white folks go to them.
Yeah, but they don't. I don't think you're gonna find any place where I think you're about to go where these people you're about to quote or whoever you're quoting is saying, you know, us, the Egyptians, or us, whoever, the Babylonians, whatever name you want to put on it, we're the first people who ever wrote down a documentation.
No, bro. They don't got to say that. But what I'm saying is, I think you know this, that there were civilizations that's older than Egypt, right? That has no writing record at all. Nothing.
Well, it may not have a writing record that we discovered. Doesn't mean they don't have a writing record.
Okay. What we all at you're a human being. What we know right now is that that's all we can go with. What we know right now. We know right now that there is no writing system before the Egyptian period. We do know that.
Well, we know that it's one of the oldest writings we've ever discovered.
No, it is the oldest, not one of. It is the oldest.
Okay, it can even give you that. It's the oldest that we've ever discovered. Doesn't mean that it's the first or that it's even the oldest. It's the oldest that we've discovered.
Bro, no, it's definitely the oldest we discovered. Now
you don't know what their history is prior to their discovery.
Well, bro. Look what we're saying. We are saying it's the oldest that they had discovered. It doesn't mean it's the oldest that they will ever discover. But right now, that's the oldest that they had discovered.
Right, it doesn't mean it's the first.
Bro, I never said that. I'm just saying it's the oldest writing system. Okay, look. When you say that, we still know. Okay, we know that they were civilizations older than the Egyptians. So now, with all you're arguing right now,
that's what some people say.
Wait, hold on. Well, damn. I mean, well, then, like, what should we believe in?
As far as what?
Nothing
about the oldest writing.
No, the oldest writing.
What should we believe about what?
The oldest writing, history, any of that.
I think the proper approach to it is to say you don't know.
No. That's not the proper.
To me, that's the better answer.
No. Wait. But how can you say that when you know something?
You say, repeat that again.
How can you say we don't know when you know something?
We know what we discovered, but we don't know. We don't know. We don't know when the first ever script.
Okay, yeah, but you guys hold on to 76 trillion and 78 trillion, but like you said earlier, we don't know. You said it might be older than that, but what Elijah Muhammad did, he did what they did. He held on to a number that.
But as I described earlier, that's just something we believe. I'm not saying that it's something that that's proven to a point to where someone could refute it is something that either the listener could accept or reject. If someone rejected it, it's not really a big deal because it's not.
But it is a big deal because you're.
Why is it a big deal?
Because that's called education. Like you're either educating correctly or you're miseducating. So now
but you can't force people to accept it.
I know, right? But it's fair, especially the like you said, you're 50, I'm 40. Now, if you talk to the youth ain't beat with what we got to say. They want us to show us, prove it. So right now, and that's the disconnection between not what I have, because the youth is around me like crazy, but maybe you and other people, the separation you're gonna have with them is that you just can't tell them something and not show them. They're gonna pull out their smartphones and they're gonna Google it.
There's no way to really show history in that way. It's either something you accept or you reject.
No.
All it is, when I describe the term 76 or 78, I'm just describing a number that was taught to us, or words that's put in the book. Even if these words were put in the book and we present that book to them, that's not necessarily proof. It's either something you accept or reject.
Right. And
it's just a number.
Right.
76 trillion years.
Right. And I'm saying, I got you saying, you're a little older, so you stuck. What I'm saying is this, bro. If you want to be a teacher, an enlightener, an educator, we just can't say numbers anymore, because then you know why? Because that kid could say a number, and everybody can make up a number. No, we are all bound to what can.
Me and you don't have that kind of credibility to say what would work. I mean, Elijah Muhammad has 70. I mean, he has 40-something years of his physical history among us with great success, using the formula of the Nation of Islam,
bro.
So we don't have that kind of credibility.
Now, what success you speak of?
The success in every area of activity.
Okay.
Economics, military.
Oh, okay. Wait, sorry. Wait, okay. You said military. Wait. You say military. What was the military allowed to carry weapons?
No.
So how can they defend themselves versus another military that just got, if you got no weapons, then all we need just guns, just simple guns, and we're gonna wipe y'all out.
Big things have small beginnings, but I will say that we believe that guns were not necessary because God is our protector.
Well,
that's our faith.
So look.
But even though we have faith that the God is our guide and protector, doesn't mean that the God is not going to give us practical tools to use to protect ourselves from injustice.
I'm gonna say this.
And that's what that's about.
All right. So now let me give my opinion on that.
Basic security.
So my opinion is that's dangerous. That's dangerous to build an army and then put them out there with nothing to protect themselves but God. Well,
okay. Did the Nation of Islam have a measure of success that you can study and read about? Well, from 1931 to 1974, especially the height of Jim Crow.
I think you're mixing up success with impact. They had a great impact and influence.
We had the most impact.
Right. Okay. But when you say success, now that's something that got to be shown and proven. And again,
you ever heard of vegetarianism?
Yeah.
Elijah Muhammad he invented that. He brought that here to America. There was no such.
Yeah. Well,
there was who was out preaching a vegetarian diet before Elijah Muhammad?
Look, he had the biggest impact and influence on the vegetarian life in America.
No one can date a vegetarian diet prior to the program of Elijah Muhammad. But not just that.
Right.
Black people. Why don't black people? Do black people define? I know. Separate the term of endearment. Do black people define themselves as the N-word?
Who?
The N-word.
Right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about on paper. I'm not talking about a term of endurance like, hey, what's up, my you know what?
Oh, no.
I'm talking about officially on the paperwork. They say, when they ask you to describe yourself, do you put the N-word?
No,
Yeah, well, who's responsible for that?
white folks. But I mean that
Who's responsible for you properly identifying yourself?
white folks.
No, the white folks didn't tell you to stop calling yourself the N-word.
Wait. I don't get what you're saying.
I'm saying that Elijah Muhammad is responsible for you properly identifying yourself as a black man or as an original.
Wait. Okay, and you might be going too far now. Black folks did not call themselves niggers.
Yes, it did.
No, they did not. They call themselves colored.
You talking about the Jim Crow era? That's the height of it.
Bro, they use the word Negro and colored.
And nigga.
No, they didn't. They never call themselves nigga as a official term of.
Yes, that was that on old paperwork. That was the official term for black people.
Okay, you got to put that in. You got to prove that. All they ever called themselves was Negro.
Just look at old. You can use the old. You can use any old. Look up any old school applications.
Okay. You can do it right now.
No, you ain't got to do it now.
Okay, because now
that's common knowledge.
No, that's not common knowledge. I don't know about that. That's fake.
During slavery, the slave had to say, you know what, you're an original man. You're a black man. He didn't. For 400 years, we were called the N-word.
No, he called them the N-word, but we call ourselves Negro and colored people.
Look, if the white man is your only teacher, and that's all he described you as for over 400 years, what else are you going to describe yourself as?
Bro, he called you. No. You mixing up.
Yeah, that's his basic.
Bro, the word nigger comes from the word. Okay, when he called you nigger, that was an epithet from the word Negro. You were first.
Fine, but that's all he called us.
All right. So before you look at the slave block, say Negro for sale. So look, Elijah
Muhammad was the one who broke that cycle.
No, we were calling ourselves.
Then who broke it? Name the person so I can look him up.
You had So Elijah Muhammad.
Oh, you want to eat some more of those little special chips of yours?
Okay, look. Elijah Muhammad, right?
Uh-huh.
Elijah Muhammad. He took away your last name and did what?
Repeat that again.
Elijah Muhammad, your slave last name.
Right.
Took that away and did what?
And gave you a righteous name.
Wait, but what did he put? What did he put in the place of it?
What did he put in place of the slave name?
Your last name, yeah.
Talking about the X?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What about it?
Was he the first to do that?
Was he the first to do that? I'm pretty sure by you asking that question, I'm pretty sure you got something to say that he wasn't. I'm not, and I wouldn't say that he was the first to do it anyway.
Okay, Booker T. Washington, but not just him, but people that was. I got his book Up from Slavery. Booker T. Washington, and he didn't start either. But black folks, period, when they got free from slave, they were all losing their last name, and they were putting something there. I'm not gonna tell you what it was. You do your own homework, but they were putting something there. And it wasn't X, it was something else.
We give them all credit, but what I'm saying is that Elijah Muhammad officially broke the cycle to the point to where James Brown made a song called "I'm Black and I'm Proud."
Right now, but okay, bro.
Not just that. He look at all the financial or business endeavors that he.
Okay. Now
so
wait. Let's just deal with that. Again, his business endeavors, it showed he had a third grade education because those businesses were more like sole proprietorships.
What? Say that again?
Those businesses were more like sole proprietorships. They were not corporations, S corps.
Well, it sounds like an apples and oranges argument. The point is there were businesses.
Wait.
There were businesses.
Just allow me to explain what the difference. When you have a sole proprietorship or something like that, it dies with you. When you die, it's going to. When you have a corporation, you die, it sticks around because it's separate from you. It doesn't need you to live. So Bill Gates, these guys can die. All these hotels.
I won't doubt anything you're saying about that. The point is that he accomplished it. It was accomplished under his leadership. That's my point.
Wait. Okay, no, wait. Okay, wait. Hold on. I got something for you.
it's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback in 2019, looking back on that period and say, "Oh yeah, you should have did this or you should have did that."
No. I'm not.
There's plenty of things that should have been done, but
I'm not faulting people for what they did. Okay, so this right here, the Black Reconstruction,
right.
So you see this big thick book,
right?
Okay, these are hundreds and thousands of Black people being successful in 1860 to 1880. So this is way before Elijah Muhammad.
They get full credit.
They
get full credit.
Businessmen. Now, hold on. I got one more.
They get full credit.
Right, I got one more for you. Let me see. Where's my favorite book? My favorite book. Okay, maybe I can't find it right now, but I'll just tell you. Yeah, I don't know where it's at. So I will just tell you. Somewhere over there. A.G. Gasson. You ever heard of him?
No.
Right. Richest Black man up until Reginald Lewis. You heard of Reginald Lewis?
No.
Okay. Second, so A.J. Gasson was the richest Black man in America over Madam C.J. Walker, over the other Madam Walker, over both of them. His wealth lasted up into the 1960s or something like that. Some late. Okay. Down in Alabama. He damn near employed the whole state of Alabama. The richest man in America, businessman, by the way. And then when he went away, Reginald Lewis came behind him. And Reginald Lewis, if you study Dr. Khalid Muhammad and you see how he went to college, are you aware of his history in college?
Vaguely.
Okay, so he was part of a study. Have you heard about that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Reginald Lewis got into that study. Okay. And all those people in that study, Dr. Khalid will tell you, every last Black man that was part of that study left out, and they all became very, very successful in life. Every last one of them. You know, they all became like notable people and wealthy and very successful. But the whole thing is Reginald Lewis was in that study with Dr. Khalid, and he wasn't as brilliant as Dr. Khalid. Like he had to force himself to that. He had to really go out beyond his reach to get people to get him into that study. And he actually made it. Started off as a lawyer, then left that and became a crazy capitalist, venture capitalist, buying corporations and all that Kellogg stuff. That was all his stuff. The cereal stuff. Like he owned all that. Like he was the richest man until he died from a brain aneurysm, something like that. But so my whole thing is when you study Black history, you'll see that there were people who became successful by this. You know, they didn't take donations. They didn't take charity.
They get full credit. No.
Right. So it's a difference. So all I'm trying to separate is this. There is a difference when you deal with success. It's easier to become successful like a preacher when you're when people are giving you money. That's easier to be successful. And it's easier to teach do for self. But when you look at what you did, you didn't really do for self. You didn't create anything that generated money or any type of income. You taught and people paid you for what you had.
How come the Nation of Islam was worth $85 million?
Okay. Again, okay, you had 100,000 members and they're giving you charity.
The worth was not it wasn't based on charity. It's based on their business holdings. All the business holdings that were in the name of the Nation of Islam, or even its affiliates, people who are in the Nation of Islam own businesses or what have you. Collectively, it was worth $85 million.
No. Look, the people who own businesses, those were their businesses. That had nothing to do with Islam.
Well, if I'm a member of the Nation of Islam and I didn't know anything about business before I got into the Nation of Islam,
I'm not arguing. Look,
after that membership, and
you must miss what I was saying. No. You missed what I was saying. Like the Nation of Islam get full credit for all the success that their members do, while they were a member. Like they get full credit for everyone who life has changed, everything they accomplished. The Nation of Islam get full credit for anyone who joined and accomplished great things. I'm not saying that. I'm saying income-wise, because we're doing what you said, $85 million. So we're talking about income. I'm saying the $85 million, that was all Elijah. That's what he accumulated from the Nation of Islam.
It was accumulated under his leadership.
I'm saying all that money, the $85 million. I'm saying that's all his money.
Well, okay, I get that, but it wasn't. He didn't describe it like that. He described it as the nation's money.
Oh yeah, no. Listen. Again, I think you're looking too deep. I'm not arguing that either. I'm saying that he was the sole reason why it accumulated that much.
All right. Okay.
And I'm saying the people who had, like, for example, like you might have a mosque in, let's say, Texas. Let's say Houston, Texas. The Nation of Islam didn't franchise that mosque. They didn't provide the income. The people in that mosque, and I ain't saying there's nothing wrong with this. I'm saying the people in that city who joined the nation pulled their resources because Nation of Islam influenced them, guided them correctly, and they put the funds together to get that building, to pay the rent, whatever, in that building, and then furnish it. I'm saying, but the nation, it's not like Elijah Muhammad had a grant for them or some type of loan for them. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just giving you what happened. Those people amongst themselves, moved by the Nation of Islam, inspired by it, was in the spirit of it, had came amongst themselves and pulled their resources and got a building, and then called it. And then, of course, with the blessing of the leadership, they was able to call it a mosque and associate with a number, a temple.
Right.
So all I'm trying to say is that I think when people say Elijah Muhammad, everything he has done, when that's being said, I'm telling you, bro, when that's being said, the laymen take that as that those businesses was Elijah Muhammad funding some money or funneling some money to that business, and then it was his, and people were employed by him directly. I think that's what people was getting from that. When people say that type of
you described it pretty spot on, that people put their resources together to create different business ventures. And there were cases where he did loan people money.
I believe that's the case.
There were cases where he did do that. But with that said, the Nation of Islam, they were like a second Black Wall Street. They were to me the fulfillment of what Marcus Garvey wanted. Even his wife acknowledged, the significance of Messenger Muhammad. So the Nation of Islam were able to accomplish things at a time that no one else was. To go out and say or criticize white people the way they did without being lynched or,
you call that an accomplishment?
I'll say it again.
Well, wouldn't that be a demonstration? That wouldn't really be an accomplishment.
It's a big accomplishment because we were able to stand tall in the face.
Yeah, but that's a different, like,
we were able to stand tall in the face of opposition.
Yeah, but that's
these white intelligence organizations. They were able to infiltrate Marcus Garvey and had spies destroy what he was trying to do, along with many other great leaders.
They infiltrated the nation too.
Yeah, but they weren't able to destroy.
No, well, listen, bro. They didn't see it as a real threat to white supremacy.
Oh, yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
How can they not see it as that? According to J. Edgar Hoover, he
right. Yeah, no, okay, so what he went with
they had consistent surveillance on many of their top prominent members.
They had surveillance on.
You don't garner.
Bro,
you don't garner that type of.
Bro, they had surveillance on Dr. King, man.
Okay, he was a threat too. Fine.
Bro, listen. White folks don't take chances, bro. That's what they like you said earlier. You said in Egypt, they was on top. They dropped their guard, and that gave way for somebody to come conquer them. White folks learn from that. So there's a threat. Right. So if you and I, like you say, you and I, if we start an organization,
Marcus Garvey was a threat. Martin Luther King.
well, look what I'm saying. I'm saying you and I, if we attempt to establish and organize something for Black folks, where we're teaching them like, civics. We're teaching them civics.
Tangible ideas.
Right. We're teaching them STEM. You and I. And we grew to like 100 people. We would get surveillance.
Right.
Right. So white folks, they surveillance anybody. I mean, it's not anybody, but they surveillance. They do surveillance on those who have potential. That's it. If you got potential, they're on you.
Yeah, you won't get an argument from me there. But the Nation of Islam. What were you about to say?
I was saying, so when it comes to potential, Dr. King had more potential than Elijah Muhammad on the people, or influencing the people, or guiding the people a certain direction.
Martin Luther King had plenty of potential.
Yeah. So that's why.
So did Malcolm X.
I gotta finish that thought though. So I mentioned him for a reason. Mm-hmm. I said Dr. King had he had greater potential to like guide the mass to something that the white folks dreaded. So the minute he started talking like the way he did, when he started sounding like Malcolm X, they couldn't take that chance of him getting his followers to think like that, because they knew it was over. Because you already had Elijah Muhammad thinking like that with his crew and his members and his influence. Then you got the other guy who's opposing Elijah's ideology now. So it's two halves. You got the ideology of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You got the ideology of Dr. King. The few in the middle, they were like insignificant. But that was the nation. So if you can get one against the other, you're good. But when they start to think alike, oh no. So let's say if Elijah Muhammad started to think like Dr. King, they'd have offed him, or at least one of them, because they couldn't take a chance, or they tried to. They couldn't take a chance.
There's a even though Martin Luther King had tremendous potential, you can't say that his thinking was greater than Muhammad's, because his.
I never said.
Are even greater? You can't have.
I said potential.
Well, maybe to some degree, but he had
a larger following.
He never got a chance to fulfill it because he was taken out before he got to that point.
Right, because he was seen as a huge threat. Like they couldn't take that.
Well, he was fine when he was telling his followers to symbolically speaking, hug it up and hold hands and kumbaya with white people.
You are saying what I'm saying.
He was fine when he was doing that, but once he started talking about getting out of Vietnam and started talking about economics, and things of that nature, then that's when he became a real danger.
Yeah, I just said that. I said exactly just that.
But I wouldn't go so far as to compare them in a way to where I say, well, okay, his thinking was greater.
Now, bro, you made that up. I never said thinking. I said potential of influence. That's all I said.
Naturally, members of the Nation of Islam are going to have a slight or a little bit of a bias.
Of course.
And how we look at Elijah Muhammad.
Of course. Like, look, I understand how you guys think. He's the epitome. Nobody close. Nobody did it. You know what I mean? I get all that.
Right. But we also give everybody else the equal credit. If I wasn't a follower,
I don't do that though.
If I wasn't a follower of Elijah Muhammad, I'd be a follower of Marcus Garvey.
Give me what?
So if I wasn't a follower of Elijah Muhammad, I definitely would be in the spirit or in the same mindset as a Marcus Garvey type.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is that as followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the followers should be willing to, at least the ones who are not active, because they got more power. The ones who are active have no power. It's all about the minister and what he let's say yes and no to. But the ones who are inactive, they have a duty to update the teachings where it's in the line of STEM.
I would say The only thing I would say to that is, yeah, it needs the program of Muhammad needs to be updated where it left off at. In 1974, it reached its height. We had banks, we had airplanes.
I'm agreeing with that, and that's pretty much what I'm saying. I'm saying
we had cargo trucks. So if we can start today from that point, not between that point up to now, because the Nation of Islam,
no. Hey, bro.
The nation of Islam, the way I see it right now, is more religious. And
yeah, that definitely is, and so that's why I'm agreeing with you. When I say update, I'm talking about from Elijah, from when he left, from that day forward. It should be upgraded from that date.
Right.
So we go back to the message of the black man, and I have no problem with the religion because the religion is a personal choice. I have no problem with what people want to believe in. I got no problem with that. But
I think we should steer ourselves towards mastering every area of activity and not just be what they call community activists or people who go out and preach good about a particular topic.
So for example, he talks a lot about what was going on at his time, right? Mm-hmm. And he talks about it like we're in that time right now, you know. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it is like unrelatable even to me as a 41-year-old. So if you're talking about like an 18-year-old reading this, certain parts of it is going to lose them because he's talking about lynchings. He's talking about like segregation. Like he's going over like segregation versus integration basically in his book. And
I wouldn't underestimate the youth. I wouldn't underestimate them.
Look. I just said, brother, that I can't relate to segregation because I was born in integration.
All right.
And I'm 41. So if they're 19, you got to understand. I was born at a time where it was okay to say a fact. You could say fact and that was right.
Right.
You dig? And now you probably go to jail. So, but the 18-year-olds, they're growing up believing this stuff is normal. Like this is how it's always been.
Right.
In this country. So they have a different reality.
What the youth will respond, I think what the youth will respond to is tangible actions that involves making money and creating power. I think the youth they've outgrown religious talk. You know.
So for example, have you heard of the movement ADOS?
Yes, I've heard of it.
So I'm saying, so when it says program and what the Muslims want and believe, I believe that, but update, that could be in place of that.
Well, as you can see with ADOS, it's pretty much taken to a degree a page out of the Nation of Islam's book.
Right, it's updated.
To a degree.
Yeah, it's updated. That's my point. Like we need to update the teachings where it's relatable today.
That's fine. I think that if Black people really want to push that the way that they're capable of, then they got to stop participating in the system. We got to stop paying taxes, stop doing everything that makes.
Look. Okay, now listen. That part will be for what the Muslims want, the ADOS update, where we're saying we want to be tax exempt. Like this is part of what you guys owe us. Like he just said, like, you know, you're gonna support us, you know, because that was the thinking at that time. You're gonna give us a separate state and support us for this many years with this much money and this much machinery. Okay, well now we see like they ain't gonna do that. So we'll say, okay, then we're gonna push for this now.
Right.
These tangibles. We want money, but we want tangibles still. So we still want separation. Probably not in a separate state thing, because that's probably like we would love that, but they probably most definitely won't do that.
As long as it has a or else element to it. We have to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So
we can request it, and they can say no, and then what do we do next? So there has to be an or else we'll do X, Y, Z.
Right, and that's pretty much what ADOS is pretty much saying. That like ADOS has like their little or else is tied up in there. So it's not like they're begging. They're saying this is what owed, and we're gonna keep calling for it, and we're gonna be more aggressive each year. We're not going anywhere. Right now, we got a movement going on, and we're small in numbers right now. But as we keep pushing, it's gonna keep echoing, and we're gonna start getting, our allies involved pushing for this, and
big things have small beginnings.
yeah. So the economic blueprint, you want to keep that. Okay, so now it says push the Muslim program to Congress. Like you said, that's just an updated ADOS version. That's all.
Naturally, any theology always needs to be updated to the current situation that's going on in society.
This is the goal right here. You can read that.
Yeah.
That's the goal right there.
That's right.
So, and everything else is good. Just update. So I give you an example. When it says separation independence, that has to be updated because, as we can see,
updated meaning express it in a language that the youth could understand today.
Right, but not only that, it got to be more relatable. Because at this time, don't forget, this time at the time of this book, this was 65. So at the time of this book, civil rights had not even been pushed yet. So it was 50-50 whether we get separation or integration. So now we are clearly 40, 50 years in integration. So the separation idea is like, that's done unless we do it ourselves. That's done asking for.
Separation is a key component because every group, all the groups of people who succeed or have succeeded in America right now came from a separate environment. So when you have that degree of separation, then you're able to get together, conjure up some ideas, and then once you build yourself up to where you need to be, then you can go back out and interact with other people on an equal footing because you got your own foundation to do it with. Just like Koreans, just like Chinese, just like Arab people, Indians, etc.
So look right here. He talks about a time where we were getting bit by dogs, and he's speaking it in the present tense. So he's not saying like, because this was the present tense. So he wrote this book in the present tense, like as things going on at that time. So now when a 16 to 19 on read, see, we're getting clubbed by policemen and bitten by dogs. So this clearly shows how much we're in dire need of unity. He's not like this. This wasn't applied today.
I think the average youngster, regardless of what they're going to, they can understand the context.
Look. Right. Bro, the context was this is going on right now at the time.
I'm pretty sure they can get this book and see, okay, it was written in 1960, 65 or something, somewhere around there, 64.
And that's why I say, you know what I'm gonna do? Now look, I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna show you this right here. So you know I'm not playing. You see this book right here?
Why don't...
No, not why.
We don't break laws, laws break us.
Yeah, this is my book.
Okay.
She said I had remixed it, the 12 jewels on the back of it.
Okay.
You see it?
So yeah, okay, that's your book.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is this. I got this idea that, my God, that I believe that the message of Black man should be updated. So I'm thinking about doing it myself. Go ahead and reintroducing the message of Black man, and it's going to be called Message of the Black Man Updated or something similar.
Yeah, when you talk about the stuff that he's saying in there is every bit as relevant. He's still getting beat up by the police.
Yeah, but yeah, okay, you can do it.
Everything.
You see that? So now when he
everything that he's describing in that book is still going on.
We're right. Listen, but it's a different time frame. So we relate to being choked out, being shot on camera. So instead of saying police dogs biting us, updating me, now I can show something relatable. I can show Mike Brown, all these others who were killed right in public, and
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I'm not against.
right. So
I'm not against updating current examples to describe pretty much the same thing.
that's
Shot,
that,
shot,
that,
shot,
that's all I'm saying with the
shot, choked out, lynch.
bro. It's you have to look. I teach for a living. I'm trying to tell you, bro. Like you might talk to youth on your volunteer time. I get paid to teach them. You dig? So I'm heavily involved with youth. I'm talking to them every day. Everybody who I hang around with right now, they're all 27 and down. I'm 41. I'm almost half all their ages.
You can take what Muhammad taught and give them an updated example of what he taught. So there's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't go down the path of changing the body of the work because it's like it's almost like a Bible or Holy Quran. The Holy Bible and the Quran.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
You're going to find another book, huh?
Yeah, but I'm ready to hear you. Because I want to show you something. But go ahead.
The Holy Bible and the Quran were written 1400 and 2000 years ago. So when you read those books, a lot of stuff you can't really relate to because that stuff happened way back then. But that was 1400 to 2000 years ago. Message to the Black Man, we're only talking, 40-something years? Or not 40-something years, but we're talking,
50.
50 years.
Yeah.
50 years. So that's not a lot of time.
Yes, that's a lot. So much happened in between. That's over. Now look.
But the same. Look, can we agree that the same stuff is happening to us, but happening to us in a modern type of way?
Right, but
Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, etc.
No, but some ideas are, like I said, he was writing this book when it was 50-50, integration, separation, where separation was very, very plausible. Now we are thoroughly integrated. Nobody in the nation is not calling for separation anymore.
We're not integrated the way you think. We're integrated in that.
Listen, bro, I know. Look, we're not integrated as far as living. I understand that, but we're integrated society-wise as far as like in order to achieve success, you will be integrated. You want to get a bank account. You want to, if you dare to step out there and do something great, you will be integrated. So I understand we're integrated. We're separated as far as living conditions. But again, that's not by choice. It ain't because we chose that. That's what they put us through: redlining and housing. All that.
When Muhammad mentioned separation, he's not. When he's described separation, he's just basically saying, "Hey, Black people, let's get together, let's insulate ourselves, come up with some ideas, and then go out in society, make some money, get some power, do for self. Accept your own and be yourself." That's one of the chapters I think. Right. Accept your own and be yourself.
Right.
It's impossible to separate yourself from the world because you got to interact with people. Look at NATO, or look at, like we talked about with the UN. You got all these different nations of people interacting with each other for business. So, until a certain time, we're always going to be interacting with other people. So that kind of separation is just not going to happen.
Okay, so
we don't have our own land, our own country to execute it in that way.
Wait, so let me ask you a quick question. Are you doing a carrot bar thing?
What do you call it?
Carrot bar.
What is a carrot bar?
Carrot bar.
What is a carrot bar?
Okay. Now the nation is heavy into that.
Never heard of it.
I'm sure you're right here. So I guarantee you're gonna hear about it from now on. Here we go.
So they're getting on you.
This right here.
What is it about?
It's about to me it's a scam. It's a pyramid scheme about buying gold and hoping that the economy falls so you can have all this gold on you. The nation is very heavy into that.
This is my first time seeing it. I would have to look into it.
Yeah, go on Facebook and type in Karatbar. You're gonna see. Matter of fact, check this out. I'm gonna do it for you. I'm actually in their group. Watch this.
I wouldn't call investing in gold a scam.
No. Bro, they're just you got just no. It's not. It's this Karatbar shit is a scam. I'm not saying investing in gold. I'm saying this Karatbar stuff is a scam.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
So right here. Come on. Oh my God.
It takes a while for it to load because you're streaming.
Right here. Oh damn, wrong one. Oh boy. And it's worse when you click the wrong one. This one, you see right here, Karatbars. Mm-hmm. This right here is full of FOI. Hey, also right here.
So what is their claim? What are they that they would encourage other people? Would they would encourage other people to get involved in it?
All right. First of all, you're buying gold from a company based in Germany, right? Mm-hmm. And the Germany economy is poor, so they're desperate. So they need money. So who everybody go to? You need money. Who the Chinese and Indians everybody go to? They go to black folks. So they come over here with an organized lie in the package of a pyramid scheme, telling us that we should buy gold at their rate, and a whole bunch of other nuances tied into it. You got to just watch one of their videos, whatever. They break it down. But it's something that they didn't start themselves. It's something that was pitched to them, not even to them. I think it's pitched to somebody, and then they went and ran with it. But it's your typical MLM. It's typical where you.
When I think of a pyramid, I think of someone telling you to invest your money into this person at the top, but nothing comes down.
Well, no.
I like everything goes to the top.
No. That's not even the definition of pyramid. If you just
that's my own definition.
Right. Okay, bro, you got your definition, and the FBI got theirs. So your definition might not be illegal. So you might be good, but if your definition fits the FBI definition, you get locked up.
So in relation to this, how would you describe it as a pyramid? Like what's going? Okay. Where's the money? Where's the money going?
Okay.
Where's the money going?
I got you. Listen, a pyramid scheme by definition is it's an endeavor where it doesn't have it can sustain itself without selling or offering a service. Meaning the membership alone could sustain it. That's a pyramid scheme by definition. So no other real company in this world can survive just off membership. They got to sell something or produce something. They got to offer a service or sell a product.
Right. That sounds about right.
Right. So pyramid scheme by definition don't have to sell anything or provide anything, but they can make money just off membership. So now,
if they're not claiming to sell anything.
No. So in that same definition, it says that when they do offer something, sell something, it's not something that's useful that people actually need. So in other words, they provide a service.
Are they selling information?
That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, they sell information. They offer websites. You got to pay for your website. So all I'm trying to say is this: to avoid the illegal pyramid scheme, you have to offer something of service, even though it's not useful. You still got to offer it to get off the FBI radar. Because you can't be flat out, like you said, the original pyramid scheme, you didn't get shit. You just paid money to the top over and over and over again. You was promised something and nothing ever happened. You just lost a lot of money. You're locked up. So to avoid the true definition, you need to offer a product or service. So therefore, you're off their radar now. But you're still on it because they're still watching you. But
are you saying that Karatbar is that what Karatbar is doing? They're doing just enough to stay off the radar? From
my research, yes.
Okay. I mean, I never heard of them. This is my first time ever hearing about them.
Yeah, but not just them. For me, I'm gonna say not just so I'm not picking on them. I'm saying for me, even like the whole FES, the financial education services where it's supposed to fix your credit. I researched that stuff, man. Scheme, same thing. Because when you read the reviews on people getting their credit fixed, nobody credit is fixed. And then when you research that thing in totality, it's it's not designed to fix your credit. As a matter of fact, they don't even offer the best rates. There's other credit services out there that offer best rates and give a better guarantee. No credit repairing company can promise you anything that's a fact. Look it up. It's against the law.
Well, it may have a scam type of feel to it, but unless someone's in jail.
No, wait, no.
If no one's being investigated, because in order.
That's not true when it comes to stuff, man. So sometimes.
But a pyramid is illegal, right?
No.
It's not?
No.
It's legal?
Pyramid scheme. Yeah, I just told you if you provide a service or offer a product, it's not technically illegal, but it's still a scam. It's a legal scam.
I mean, I put it to you this way. Yeah, I'll agree with you on this, that something may not be technically illegal, but if it sounds funny to where what you just described, where, okay, you know, something's not adding up and I'm investing all this money and I'm not seeing a return on my investment.
Right.
It may not be legally a scam, right, but I personally look at it.
Yeah, so check this out. So in all these MLMs, bro, they got all, like, first of all, they pitch it to poor people primarily. So they have their audience. It's always poor people because poor people wish to be rich one day. You know, we watch Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Jermaine Dupri, all these rich people, and we want to be rich too. And we know our current lifestyle ain't gonna produce that for us, not me, for them, because I'm doing my thing. But for them, they feel like they're giving up. Like they're working a 9 to 5, they're not making any money really, and they don't have any ideas. They don't even know where to start from. So they wait for like a get rich scheme.
Does this Karatbar thing offer some get rich quick path where if you invest X amount that you can make this amount in so much time? Do they offer anything like that?
I don't know all the details, but I do know this. I do know, like every other one, when they're trying to sign you up, they'll show you a guy who's supposed to be the rich guy, mm-hmm, who made all this money in 3 months. So now you're being misled. Be like, oh, I can do that too. And then they say, well, join up. You can be like him.
Yeah,
he got a Ferrari.
I think we both can agree the internet is filled with people like that.
Right. So look, so I don't want to say too much. I do want to say this. So back to updating. So when you update a book, you don't necessarily write them out of history. So this book right here,
mm-hmm, The New Jim Crow. Yeah, it's written by a sister, right?
Yeah, Michelle Alexander. Okay, right. This book is based off this book. This is what I was going to get. This is the first book. This is the old Jim Crow.
Right.
Okay. So look. So you know what she did in this book? She didn't write this out of history. She updated it and she gave a long forward given right here. This forward. She gave a long forward giving this book credit. So she was telling you what inspired her, and she was giving you a little bit of history of this book.
The teachings of Elijah Muhammad, I would support 100% the teachings of Elijah Muhammad being updated in a way to that the youth can relate to what they're going through today, as long as it doesn't affect, as long as it doesn't interfere with the spirit of the message. So there's nothing wrong with updating it that way.
The message, I don't know what that is. Okay, the spirit of the message is this. From what I got from it, you can tell me if you agree. The spirit it's not something spooky. It's not something like secretive or Illuminati. The secret of the message is to awake Black folks up so they can do for themselves, so they can get up off their butt and produce something and get ourselves out of this hellhole. Like that. That's pretty much the message. So now when I say update, it'd be the same spirit, same message. It just updated information. Anything. So
and the message also is like the other religions. You know, to be a Christian, you got to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. To be a Jew, you got to accept what they say to be a good Jew. So I will admit that our aim and purpose is to convert people. So that's the main spirit. To convert. That's the main spirit. Now, whether someone doesn't,
I'm doing that too. Look,
it's irrelevant. That's the main goal,
okay, bro. I'm doing the same thing. Now, it won't be converting to that, but I'm going to add it converting to something as well. And and what they're converting into is STEM. I'm promoting education. I'm promoting STEM. So my conversion that I'm going to be pitching when I do this over will be STEM. I'm going to invite people to come to science, technology, engineering, and math. This is what's going to get us out of this hellhole, along with the other stuff you talked about, the self-love and protecting elevated black women.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Islam comes after all else fails. So
I don't agree with that.
If someone has an idea, hey, go for it. Yeah. And if it works, if you can show and prove that idea can work in the face of what we're dealing with in the opposition, then you get full credit.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, for me, it's about just, your beliefs. Again, that's personal. If they want to be a Buddhist, if they want to be a Muslim, Islam follower of that particular fashion of Islam, they want to be a Sunni. I don't give a damn. You ain't got to cut your hair. You ain't got to cut your beard. You ain't got to do none of that type of stuff. I'm just saying, promote, educate. Let's try to be as high. One thing we never did in this country, and we could do it now. Let's try to be as highly educated as we can in the most important fields. We're sitting here again. I'm watching these fifth graders that's not black, that's doing calculus already. Like, so every friend I talk to, I ask them what grade they're doing calculus. They'll tell me some high school or some college. Well, I'm like, well, my student is in the fifth grade doing this. I was reading something and I said it out loud too. I said it out loud to myself. I still can't say it, but it's a science word that I was just saying to myself, and my fourth grader corrected me. I was so embarrassed. I couldn't believe he knew what that was. It's a science word. I'm like, what? So they are, and they're not black, by the way. They are. When you ask them what they're gonna be at 8 years old, I'm gonna be a doctor. Like they say it like it's easy. I'm gonna be a doctor. Like, damn, like just like that. So you see, like, so that's we are. Matter of fact, I was hearing this one parent say this to somebody he just met on the spot. He said, they asked him what he did. He said that he creates software to replace, like basically he creates order.
Does the idea that you would try to get people to jump onto, does it involve making money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, so this is what I do. So all right. Well, you see right there in front of you.
Say that again.
These are checks right here. All right. So and you know what? Hold on. You know what this is?
No.
You stamp checks with this. You can't get this unless you own a business.
Okay.
So now I can be petty, and yeah. So I live a life of fashion. I'm 3 digits on the hourly. You dig? I ain't 2 digits like that, but I'm 3 digits. So I definitely got nothing but business books up there. So I definitely want to, so I definitely do business. As a matter of fact, I got a YouTube. Check this out right here. You can see my screen?
Yeah.
All right, check this out. So you talk about money? Watch this. This is one of my YouTube channels. I talk about money. Nothing but money, really.
Okay.
So I actually got a video where I teach people how to get an LLC. So I ain't got to pull up, but I'll tell you, I got to
pull it up. Pull it up so I can join it.
Okay. So it's called African Noor, like entrepreneur. African Noor, so bad, like kind of like my book. So here we go right here. So as you see, 9 to 5 to African Noor. It's a mindset. So yeah, I teach the money thing.
Hang on, let me minimize my screen so I can get to your little channel thing.
Yeah.
African Noor. How do you spell Noor?
EUR. So African, then EUR.
EUR.
Yeah, then Sobek. Actually, the first couple videos that pop up.
Hang on. I don't think I did it right.
You're at YouTube?
Yeah, I didn't do it right. Give me a second. I gotta look at your thing. Oh, okay, it's one word. There we go.
Okay, so you see this video right here?
So I got it. I'm checking it out. Yeah, I'm checking. All right. Oh yeah, I gotta say, so I'll check out some of the stuff, the content you got on that.
Yeah. So you see the video right here? I'm pointing at. You see this one?
Hang on, I'm not at your
Okay.
thingy yet. Give me one
Well, no,
second.
you can stay there. I can tell you, it's the last video I uploaded. You see the last video I uploaded?
Understanding atoms and isotopes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, check it out.
So now that's part one. Part two would be nuclear fission. So I'm going to be explaining how the atomic bomb was actually created. But before I can explain that, they got to understand what atoms are and isotopes. So I had to like give them a basis, a fundamental understanding of what I'm going to be talking about. Because when you start talking about nuclear fission, it's going to get crazy. Because I'm talking about isotopes a lot. And when you hear about the periodic element table, you don't really hear about isotopes, although they're there, but you hear about atoms in their pretty much natural state, without that are not. You hear about atoms that are not isotopes, basically. So I had to, but when you talk about nuclear energy, when you talk about atom bombs, stuff like that, splitting atoms, you're going to go into nuclear fission or nuclear reactions.
Yeah, so I'll check out your channel and check out some of the content there.
But you'll see when that says, I had just deleted 4 videos. I had 4 videos stating why Black businesses aren't successful, and like for some reason I decided to delete those. So I just deleted them like the other day. But most of these videos are history and a lot about money, and you'll see the latter ones. I start talking about money. But yes,
so you got down there cow's milk, the truth about pasteurized milk. You got all kinds of stuff. Yes,
so that's a great video because as you know, that people buy raw milk from black marketed farms and they don't understand the dangers that's associated with black market milk. So raw milk, when it's produced correctly, is safe and it has its benefits. But when you go ahead and do the black market milk, I'm not sure if that's better than pasteurized milk. I think it's a little more dangerous, even though pasteurized milk is nothing in there because they didn't kill everything. They got the heat. They heat the temperatures like 118 degrees. They kill everything living, but it's still fortified. So it's probably safer than black market raw milk. And a lot of our own, we buy the raw milk from these black market farms, meaning that there's no testing being done. It's just pure faith. You're just hoping it's all right. But a lot of that milk contains when it's not have a standard, when it doesn't have a standard how it's produced. A lot of it has deadly diseases like E. coli, or I'm saying the deadly bacteria like E. coli and tuberculosis. So you can get sick for a few days, or you can actually die from tampered milk. So that video goes into that.
So I mean, if next week, what is it you want to discuss?
As a matter of fact, your milk in your state, you got the best raw milk in your state.
In California?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have a lot of health food options.
I believe you have the only raw milk that's actually that has a standard of how it's created and is tested by scientists. So all your milk that come out that state, ain't none of it is going to have a deadly bacteria in that thing.
Yeah, the people out here, they're pretty stickler about that sort of stuff. You have a lot of health conscious people out here from all demographics, all walks of life. I mean, I run into, for example, white people all the time who are shopping around these vegetarian type restaurants, and they make sure they keep themselves up to date on the most healthiest stuff.
Right. Now California is definitely up to par. So
we have a couple of spots in the hood, what we call our version of the hood, South Central, but it's not nearly enough.
Yeah.
It's not nearly enough. But I'm gonna get off and get ready for work. Do you want to set something up for next week?
Yeah, next week, 9:30, we can pretty much piggyback what we're talking about now. I want to discuss updates and adding some type of STEM realm. Again, it is not going to be exactly like this because it's not supposed to. It's going to be its own. It's going to be its own book, like those books I show you over there. The new Jim Crow is not the old Jim Crow, but she's just telling you how it is now. So she gave you how it was then, but she's saying, okay, now there's a new Jim Crow now that you might not, that's unbeknownst to us, and she exposed it, which is the penal system, but she exposed it in great detail. Like we all heard of it, but none of us can like go to great detail in what limits that they're doing. So she showed you the 100-to-1 crack cocaine, racial disparity. She showed you like the petty crimes. Matter of fact, you don't even need to go to prison. All you need is a felony. That's it.
Well, how would you rate the book?
Oh, no, that's one of the best books I ever wrote.
And I'm gonna order that book as soon as I get off.
I'm sorry, I'm sleepy. I said wrote. I'm sorry. That's one of the best books I ever read. That book right there, bro. If anybody asks me a book to read, that's probably my first. So I'm like, go right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that as soon as I get off with you. Check it out.
Yeah, I guarantee you're gonna want to talk about it. Like that's probably one of the best books ever written. That dealing with our situation in this country.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it exposed, like she was basically a whistleblower.
Mm-hmm. Who did she work for?
She was an attorney, like a civil rights attorney.
Mm-hmm.
But she's seen something. She worked on like police brutality cases, and she's seen something that was like common amongst the youth coming in. She realized that all my clients are young, like little youth that got petty, small amounts of weed, small amounts of crack, but they're getting football years. So she's like, damn, wait, is this systemic? Now she said that she never, like, she was like one of those uppity blacks that never believed that racism was a problem. You know how that is, like, because they never was like living with us. They was always like living, with silver spoons. So she never believed racism was really that impactful to black folks until she starts seeing like all these youth come in with these crimes of small quantities of marijuana, cocaine, meth, whatever it is, but they're getting football numbers. But she's like, damn, is this systemic? She like had to really reevaluate how she look at racism. It's like, right. Is this systemic? So when she asked, we start asking questions amongst her colleagues. Nobody wanted to speak about it. So she said, oh, it is. So then she went to research, and then she just created powerful work. This book is, bro, this is one of the best books.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna check it out, bro. But I'm gonna get ready for my day tomorrow. I know it's late on your end. Right now it's 11 something, so that means it's what, 2:00 where you're at?
It's hella late. It's about to be 3:00, and I'm gonna still try to read for a little bit.
What time you gotta get up for work?
Now I'm an afternoon, but I'm a type of person who get up early to handle stuff. So I like to start my day early to organize myself. I just can't wake up and just go to work. Like I gotta wake up and get my head together and put things in motion because I got my own business. So I like to organize myself correctly, get my mind right because I'm teaching. So teaching, that's not an easy thing to do. So I gotta get my mind, clear my mind, get it right. Now it's stressful, bro. It's stressful.
Well, we need more brothers like you who's out there doing something for themselves. So, the STEM thing sounds pretty good, but so next week you want to discuss updating.
Yes.
Good ways to update the teachings of Muhammad.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, that's cool. So just send me a reminder email at some point during the meeting. And
I would do it at this time. I won't wait so late. I would do it probably Friday or Saturday.
Well, Monday's fine because Fridays and Saturdays I'm very busy on those days.
So I do it Monday early, like early afternoon.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
You have a good night, my friend.
You too.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
How do you get out of this?